guess you're all static except for me, because all of you just the whole time.
Yeah, that'll be the intro. I don't know what happened, but there was so much static. Everybody just had to mute their mics. It was just echoing.
Yes, it's my game of the week this week.
I mean, it could be your mic's picking up your speaker.
Yeah.
I was muting it and they couldn't hear it.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know that. Okay.
Whoa. Garfield is not a game. A week of Garfield is the proper title.
No, it's Garfield and Gatsby. I thought it sounded like a cute cartoon duo. Yeah.
Sounds like a title instead of a list of games.
Well, somebody couldn't remember what they said the title should be. So it's not
I
mine.
don't remember what I say right after I say it. This shouldn't be a surprise.
You said it, and I was like, yeah, it will be. And then I was like, I just have to remember after the show what it was.
If only we had the show recorded.
That's what we do. We're going to click the link and... You know how hard that is. I don't know if these ones never
That's
managed.
good enough. That's good enough.
Alright. That's the pre-production thing, so I'm not going to read that.
Okay.
Oh, pre-show, we need a race. Have we got a race?
Yes, we have a race up.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, I made the race. Thank you.
Oh, is that Desi trying to contribute?
That's right. I'm trying to contribute.
You're not
I ended up
going-
contributing instead, I
You're
think.
not going to join the show, Desi.
No, I'm not going to join the show.
He's trying to
He's trying to stop you now.
Desi's
Oh.
around.
You know, 2 weeks ago I was over at Duckfist's house. I started the race then too.
We're going to hear a brick hit Duckfist around the back of the head. And like do all the show stuff.
Well, the closest thing to a brick that's around here is a PS3, so...
That's practically a brick.
I don't think Desi looks anything like Duckfist, but we can't tell. We'll be at the next marathon and we'll be like, hey, oh hi, I'm Duckfist.
and then someone will be like, wow, Duckfish, you have a really pimp hat.
Things could only go up from here.
I bet Duckfist does have a pin hat actually. Pretty sweet hat. You have a cool hat, Duckfist.
Thanks. I have plenty of cool hats. I just choose not to wear them. They're just too cool, I think.
Too cool for Duck.
You like the Feasel Sans
Oh yeah.
on our picture?
I just like the view.
Just the Feasel.
Yeah, just that one. The old Aldo. Just letting you guys know, my Skype just dropped me. It seems like it's been working pretty well so far, but if I suddenly stop talking, MS can pull up the Slack or something.
Yeah, if MS, if you could just speak if he stops and try and make
Like
it
the
seem.
keyboard is louder than their voices on the screen.
Who told me I had the same exact voice, and
Yeah.
I can just turn it.
If you
Hopefully
speak
that's
a bit,
okay.
Speak a bit, MS.
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, in that.
That's a bit
I'm muting myself for now. Runner.
If you got headphones, I can plug them up and you can kind of hear what the final result sounds like.
Okay, I need to set this up first.
Just assume that if Garrison drops, it's because Desi killed him.
You didn't actually mute yourself.
Yes, it's just Garrison.
You sure it's just not slow? I should have muted myself.
Yeah.
No, you muted it.
Oh, okay, I have like 2 different sources.
Welcome to
Hello.
your playable character from Mario to one of the keys you
So
get
that
whenever you
does
defeat
sound
Bowser,
familiar.
so they play the entire game as a key. It was amazing.
Sounds awesome.
Nice.
Apparently people are mad that you've muted us. Duckfist.
No one
Ooh.
needs to know who we are.
We're muted?
We're muted?
We're muted, yeah.
Why are we muted? Aren't we supposed to
It's Desi. I bet it was Desi.
chit
Yeah,
chat?
Desi! Curse you!
Chit chat.
What kind of name is Desi anyway?
Desi Ray Cutie.
Desi Racuti. I get the Racuti bit. But the Desi bit is like... It's too close to messy.
So I saw the Avengers yesterday, and the entire time they're
No.
talking about the Tesseract, and I couldn't help but think that they were saying your name the entire time.
What, Flicky?
Gotta get the Tesseract.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant my
I know
name.
where he is. He's
Of course you
just
got
over there.
He's at Dougfist's house. Trying to take over.
Go get him, Captain America.
Hey, I'm here to pick up Desi. Oh, hi, come in, Mr. America. Would you like some tea? Sorry, you don't have tea in America. What do you offer people when they come in the house?
Beer. I mean,
Weird.
Would
tea
you
still
like-
exists.
Would you like a hot dog? Yes, I'd
I
love a
offer
hot
hot
dog.
dogs.
After all, I am Captain America, and Americans enjoy hot dogs. Great, come sit down and watch the baseball. Thank you. I'll go get Desi for you. And
Come in and watch the baseball.
Yeah, well done.
Well, that's it, right?
It's just sitting on a shelf. We like to sit around and just stare at it every once in a while.
Sorry, do I need to clarify that it has to be on the television? Is that
Yes.
required?
Some baseball on the telly.
Come and watch the baseball on the telly. No, the American English accent's so bad I can't even do it. If I had a wish, I think I'd wish for Americans to be able to hear how bad their English accents are, so they can hang their heads in shame.
America 1, England 0.
Oh, come in, watch the telly box.
Brushing your teeth, nut.
It's not even close. Don't try it, Beetle. I like you. You can't do this to me. Oh man! When I was staying in New York, I was staying with an American and an English guy out there, and we decided we would make up slang words while talking to each other just to try and confuse him. So it'd be like, "Oh, fishy tricks, come over here, have a gander at the bloody," and just make up shit. And the American guy after like a day was like, "What the fuck is going on?" He actually called another American to stay over because he couldn't handle it. So we need to outnumber more Americans. It was quite cute, really. I'm intrigued by these Diddy Kong Racing records, actually.
Yeah.
Oxus is a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not even fair.
Got a terrible name, though. He needs to change that one. Something like...
Sea urchin sushi.
Yeah. I wish it was Chestnut Sushi
Chestnut
C.
sea sushi, yeah.
Chestnut Sushi C sounds like a Beatles song or something. Or a brilliant acid trip. So we're sailing on the Chestnut Sushi Sea? The what? The Chestnut Sushi Sea. Dude, I just said that. PS2. I like how you put Sony PS1, in case you forgot.
Mhm.
In case it was the other type of... the other type of PS1.
Do you say Microsoft Xbox 360?
Yes. And the Nintendo Super Nintendo.
Something that annoyed me was in the verification topic, they capitalized the B in Xbox. It pisses me off.
Like, seriously.
There's only appreciation for what you do.
We just can't
We have
show
to
it
make
because
ourselves
we're,
feel better by constantly
Incapable.
insulting you.
it's because we're men. We can't make you feel,
Men. Yeah.
you know, we can't make you feel like you're actually contributing and you're a worthwhile human being. That's for girls. Girls do that. Not a girl. If I were a girl, I'd be a lot more popular.
Your name would be Alicia.
It'd probably still be Lee, actually.
Yes, you could. If you wanted to.
Hey, have you updated these icons? These console icons?
I keep
No.
dropping them. Wow.
Kinda.
It's alright.
It's like
Yeah.
Desi's whispering.
Let's keep distracting him.
Hey, it can
He
be
is
like
whispering sweet nothings
Yeah.
into his ears.
yeah. It can be like me when I tried, or like anybody when they tried to practice their game at Awesome Games Done Quick. Okay, I'm gonna sit down and practice game. Hey, Flicky, what is it? Look at this. What? Look at this. Oh, okay, what is it? Oh my god, it's been 6 hours since I sat down. Yeah, you.
Oh, hey, Flicky's trying to practice Bayonetta. Guess I'll set up Battletoads right here. This will work
next
just
to me.
fine.
I was like, okay, PJ's done with Battletoads and Super Star Wars. What's okay? Now I can finally practice. And then Mike's like, "Hey, Tigger, you haven't played Subterranea yet, have you?" It's like, oh my god, don't sit next to me. Hey, here's a free Genesis. Oh god, no.
Yep.
Oh.
It was your fault. You sat just like on the floor. I don't even know where you got that TV. You just like put one on the floor and sat down right there.
Well, there were no chairs.
It was like right next to the Contra 3 dedicated TV, which later turned into the Choo Choo Rocket, which later turned into Bomberman, I think.
and F-Zero. F-Zero was on that TV.
Oh yeah.
We
You mean-
well, I tried to use
Mean-
the other 360, but Cody was constantly practicing Mirror's Edge on it, like every minute of the day.
I think F-Zero X has been changed to Poo Train kills everybody.
And nobody tells Flicky how the game actually works.
He was like, go! Slam! Dead.
It was like the last race, and then I was like, wait, you can heal your ship if you drive in the pink stuff? Why did nobody tell me?
Test,
Not
test.
if you get hit that hard. Yeah.
And then I
it was-
would drive up a ramp, and someone would hit me from behind, and I'd break the sound barrier. I skipped
were
like
in
half the
first.
track for that.
Wow.
That was good.
We hit you so hard. You were skyrocketing like half a lap in front of us.
Yeah, I know.
And then Pooch caught the scent and he was onto you. He hit you into the next stage.
He did.
Quick
was-
audio test, excuse me.
Someone said
Hello, everyone.
PTSD and it screwed me over. My brain isn't working anymore.
That's where the thingy is. The title in the stream.
Where?
The Tuesday sequence break.
Okay, I'm all
We're
ready.
proving.
Wait, when's
Oh, yeah,
Tuesday?
Gifts, but
By the way, I was trying to figure out a name for every day if we have to do a show at the marathon. And so I figured it would start on Wednesday, so I was like, Wednesday with Warps would be a pretty cool name that I thought of in 2 minutes. But I figured we're just gonna get drunk and not do the show anyway, right?
Well, if we get drunk, probably think it's a good idea, so we probably end up doing it.
It'll just be you and PJ doing it? Flicky?
No, at
What do you-
AGDQ.
AGDQ.
Oh, at AGDQ. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant SG.
No,
No,
you're
the key is to get drunk fist.
That sounds
Okay, well,
painful
You don't
and
want
great
to
at the
unleash
same
drunk
time.
fist, man. That is not a good idea.
We'll get Drunk Fist the most drunk, because he has to do the visuals.
He already plays around enough with the
Certainly be an interesting
sprites.
show
Just
from
be
the
like-
video standpoint.
They'll just be all crooked. Wrong show, misspelled.
Now, I think.
Do you have one for dying?
No, I don't. I couldn't find a good one that loops properly.
So I'm just thinking, could I like find a percentage run of this game that nobody's finished, and then make a % run of that and get the world record?
Like
If you really want to
80%.
X-ray climb for a long time, you can get the 6% record.
Well, I don't really want to, you know,
It requires boredom.
just figure like I could play through the game the first time and try and get like 56%. And that's sort of like a number no one really gets, right?
You could try and beat Minion at the 69% run.
I don't know. Minion's pretty good at
As he
69.
says, there are random percent races.
That's unfortunately.
I guess.
1 for
Does that run basically mean like the closer it is to the any percent time, the better the any percent guys do? The closer it is to 100%, the better Desi does.
I don't know, because we don't do that.
Yeah, no, they only race any percent.
That's because any percent is the cool percent.
No, they don't race anything fun. They don't race
MSDS's
videos or
graphic is a
puzzle races or anything.
MSDS's graphic is a broken glass tube.
Thank you.
Okay, as usual, I'll leave you guys and stream goes black at 0 seconds. And just wait for my cue to introduce you, and then once I do that, you're live.
And you need to,
Yay!
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Someone says, do you guys have any interesting relationships?
Wait, is MSDS online? Is he in here?
Yeah, he's here.
I can't.
He's here.
I'm here.
He needs to
add him.
speak.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, he's speaking.
Hello, MS.
Maybe you've already added him and he just hasn't accepted you.
Hi, Garrison. Oh, maybe.
You need a picture, dude.
I have a picture.
He has a picture. It's of Deer Force.
This is Deer Force.
Dear
It's true.
Okay,
oh, where's the Deer Force picture, by the way?
I've got it. We're starting soon, so.
It'll all work out in the end.
Yes, yes.
I'm nervous, guys.
I'm not.
I'm in the zone.
I'm
Alright, here we go.
focused. I'm ready to go. I just...
The Sunday Sequence Break with your hosts, Whitney, PJ, and Fiesel.
Hello, everybody. We were sorry. We were in the middle of a conversation, and Duckfist rudely interrupted with the show starting.
Up
That's
yours,
the point.
Flicky.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. Welcome to episode 12 of the Sunday Sequence Break. It is the 6th of May, 2012, and it is the Super Metroid any percent episode. We're going to split Super Metroid into two because we needed to give Desi a reason why we didn't want him on the show. So we're splitting it into two, and 100% will be in, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months, something like that. So we're here with Garrison and MS-DOS. I don't know if you guys want to say hi.
Hi, I'm
Hello.
Garrison.
Hello. There you go. I don't normally do that then, but there you go. I just want you guys to feel welcome. And MSDS is the guy that sounds just like Garrison, but a bit different. So, luckily, we have the Skype thing up, which will tell you who is who. Yeah, so cool.
I don't hear it. I think they sound different. I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm trying to build the hype. They said
Okay.
they sounded the same. I don't want to tell them otherwise.
They look
We are
the
the same
thing.
person.
Be the
They're
filler.
identical twins. They're not the
If you
same
find
person.
another Swedish poem, we can have both of them take turns reading it, and then decide
How about
if
we
they...
find an American poem and have them read it?
That's a
That's
dumb
so
idea.
boring. Why would we do
Ooh.
that?
Then I'll find a dirty limerick and we can have them both read it.
Better, okay.
Actually, no, Fiesel, you make one up to do with Metroid. The end of the first line will be Metroid, okay? You work on that. So, of course,
Do I
with the
audition
show...
for Metroid?
Yeah, the end of the first line will be Metroid. So, like, Garrison and MSDS race Metroid, and then you have to go from there. Bonus points if you don't use the word Reploid as well, because that's all
Oh,
like...
man, you just... To the only rhyme.
You just ruined it.
Okay, so of course my name
You
is
broke the whole poem.
my name is Flicky. We got PJ with us, of course.
Yep.
No, no PJ this
Yeah.
week. No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, all right. And then Feasel, who should be scribbling away on a pad of paper somewhere.
Well,
There he is.
Oh, right here.
No, I'm not going to go there. And of course, as I said earlier, we have Garrison.
Yes.
Yes, and MSDS.
Hello.
Can is there any way we can make that a bit easier to say, MS instead of MSDS? We call you.
Material safety data sheet.
Yeah, that's easier.
Okay. How about like M? Can I call you just M?
Sure.
M. All right, we're going to go with M for now.
Why is he the only one who gets a nickname?
Because fuck off. That's why.
You've got like 30 nicknames.
Yeah, you got Feezy, Easy Feezy,
Easy
Jerk
Feezy.
Feasel,
Uncle Feezy,
Uncle Feezy,
Brother Feezy.
Brother Feasel. I mean that's all of them, but still, that's more than one.
Alright, we'll stick with Easy Feezy and move on.
Easy Feezy, yeah. So, of course, I said Garrison and M this week. So, doing any percent. We've got to do the week recap. So, we'll start with Feasel this week. Why the hell not? Feasel, what have you been up to?
Oh, same thing as last week. I don't know, a little bit better performance, I guess, in Zelda 2. Although I'm still not. I still have to get a deathless run with this risky route. I'll get it though. One of these days I'll get it, and then I will be ahead of the new SDA record. So
Gonna steal
one
it
of these
out
days.
there. Jerk Feasel mode initiated.
I started
Been
this.
getting like 400
Oh, yeah.
viewers too.
It's been people are surprisingly interested in Zelda 2.
Did you
That's nice.
actually hit 400?
No. I like 265 or something.
That's
like that.
still obscene. That's pretty good.
Yeah, still
Pretty
real
good.
good.
Yeah, so are you
Yeah,
doing
happy
this
with
risky strat of the marathon now? Or?
No. This is all just because I can't let it go. I really should be practicing the marathon route, but I just can't help myself.
But there was no world record for the marathon route.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a more appealing world record for the other route.
Right.
So how anything on Legacy of the Wizard or any of your other games, have you touched them?
I
at
mean,
all?
yeah, I've been doing some Rygar attempts, and obviously I've been playing Super Mario World.
I have
but,
heard that that's going to be a race now. Is that true?
It's always been going to be a race, just not officially because Dunius wasn't sure that he was going to be up to snuff by that time, but I believe now at this point he's confident enough that he's saying
Mario
officially
World?
that he wants to do it. Yeah, Mario World.
Oh, I thought he meant Rygar. And I was like, wow, Flicky, you're
Relay
way
race.
behind.
No.
No.
Dunius, not Darkwing.
Alright, PJ, you got some interesting news. Alright, interesting news. Something that's more interesting than normal. I
I do?
Yeah,
Make it
you
up
know,
fast.
you gotta
Think on your feet.
you're throwing your hat back in the ring for something, right?
Oh, I forgot that was this week. I thought
Yeah.
that was last week.
No,
I
no,
thought
it
I
was
already
this
talked about this.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so so my Mohawk and headphone jack run finally made it into verification, which meant that I actually had to write comments for it because I didn't even do that yet. And so this was for the any percent with warps category. So the comments were basically just justifying the warp route that I used because there's like 8 warps in that game that you can choose from. And in the process of doing that, I got to one warp that I didn't use, and I couldn't figure out why I chose to not use it. So I decided to go back and actually time it out and see why I didn't use it, and it ended up being like 2.5 minutes faster. So, for a 34-minute run, that's really significant. So after Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I'm going to get back into that and do some more runs and lose all my followers.
You're gonna gain
But
a
I'm
few.
really looking forward to that.
You'll gain a few. Be like, oh yeah, this game's great, and then after they see you playing it for like the 3rd time, they'll just no,
Yeah.
I'm never coming
You're
back.
like, okay, I guess he wasn't joking when he said he was going to play this.
Yeah.
So that's cool. This guy, I like your booty, but I'm not gay. He made this. That's actually his
Yeah.
his name.
All right.
Fantastic.
Good name. I like it.
Yeah, I'll give him a +1 for that.
Oh,
He
definitely.
made this Lewis script for Super Ghouls and Ghosts for me, and it shows all of the hitboxes and hurt boxes of Arthur and the enemies and their projectiles and my weapon and the chests.
I did see
And the
you
chest
streaming that,
trick.
actually. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. It helps
Yeah,
a
I saw a
lot. And it
screenshot
has
of
all...
it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It shows all the enemy health, too, and how much damage I do. So it's been really cool for planning. Most of my route was finished for the normal any percent run. But for the all chests run, this is really going to be a breakthrough. So
Sounds
that's
like
cool.
exciting but also horrifying times in PJ Land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should be good things to come.
as far as me goes, I'd practice some Bionic Commando again. And like, I'll go through a level and be like, hey, that's pretty cool. How did Fiesel do it? And I'll be like, what the fuck is that? I don't even know what that is, so... I've been doing okay. I can finish the first 3 levels now.
That's awesome, though. That's good. Those are the hardest ones.
No, they're not.
Oh, wait, you mean like okay, like literally the first 3 levels, not the first that you play in any percent, huh?
No, in any percent, yeah. Like,
Okay, well, the orange tower and the black one, those are hard.
no, I'm including the truck in that.
Oh.
I'm including the truck
a level?
as a level. Well, yeah, because it's a level.
And you're probably counting the neutral zone as a level, too?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
The first 3 stations.
Alright.
So, I mean, I'm getting there.
I can't wait to see your route. It's going to be like all of the unnecessary stages and then a game over halfway through.
No, wait, I found one thing that's faster than what Fiesel did.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Watch out.
You screwed up in your SDA run. You screwed up one of the swings.
I screw up a bunch of swings in the SDA run.
Not just you wait until I screw up all the ones you got right, but get those right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but no, give it like
Bizarro run.
9-10 months, and I might be within 10 minutes of Fiesel's time, so... it'll be a while yet. And then as far as, I played some Ape Skate 3 a bunch. I tried to play some today, but the game completely hated me, so everything went wrong. I played some the other day, and I got a new PB, but it was still terrible, so... Not fond of it. I lost like 4 minutes on the last 2 stages, which I wasn't happy with, for understandable reasons. And I also played some Sengoku Pasara today, which I learned how to run ages ago, and I got bored of my stream, so I played some. So I guess that counts as speedrunning. I don't really know. Someone gave me a strategy, which means you one-shot pretty much everything in the game. Which is always fun. See, just some random guy showed up on my Twitch chat. And he was like, you should equip this, and I was like, alright, and I did it, and I was like, holy fuck, that's amazing. Nobody had mentioned it in the thread that was on SDA, so that was pretty cool. And then,
Internet.
yeah, thanks Internet. I have a bunch of stuff to talk about with Ape 3, but we'll save it for later, when we talk about Serial's run. And then I guess Garrison, what have you been up to? You can do a recap, right?
I sure can. I have been playing a lot of Doom 64,
Ooh.
which is a game that no one really cares about.
I love watching it, though.
Which is like the first time I've ever... I usually like really competitive games like Super Metroid and Donkey Kong Country 2, stuff like that, where there's like a ridiculous amount of people playing, and Doom 64, people have routed, I think, the first 2 levels out of 31.
Right, well, there's some appeal, because just from sheer love of the game, you know, you want to apply strategic thinking to it. You know, it's just sort of for its own sake, not for competition, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a different venture for me.
Didn't even know there was a Doom 64.
Yeah, it's actually its own game, unlike every other...
This is not even a
first-person shooter
port.
on 64. Nope.
No, it's
brand
not a port. It's
Wow, that's insane. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
That is interesting.
Do we still have 64 censored in our chat?
Yeah, we do.
Yep, we sure do.
Peaches and Kirk Q are censored as well. So sometimes if we mention a Peaches run or a Kirk Q run, people are like, woo, and then it bleeps out what they were going to say. So I like to imagine they're saying like, woo, dick, or something like that, you know. You know, whatever swear word you want to fill in there.
I'd say we should change that, but it's pretty entertaining.
It's pretty good, yeah. And so, M, what have you been up to?
Not too much. I've been playing Super Metroid and watching Sloop do low percent SMW.
Wait, low? So what, no No mushroom.
No power-ups, no Yoshi.
Ah. I guess that's Star World, is it?
Yeah, they go through Star World, but they have to skip Star World 1 because you have to be big to go through that.
That's pretty interesting. That's cool.
I
I need to get back into watching Mario World, but I have to sleep now, and it kind of gets in the way of watching things. It's kind of a pain. Anyway, news, speedrun news. Does anyone have a segue there? Does anyone want a segue?
So what's new in the world of speedrunning, PJ? PJ or Flicky or anyone?
PJ? Go on then, PJ. He wants to
I
do
was
you.
I don't know, I was looking
No, I get it. I get it. Go on. Go on, PJ.
But you're never home, Flicky. You can't blame him.
PJ's my daddy, isn't he? You can.
Alright. Strange relationships between the host aside. Let's get into speedrun news. Alright. First on the agenda, Summer Games Done Quick is getting really close now.
It's only 2.5 weeks away.
2.5 weeks, yeah, so... It starts on the Thursday the 24th, goes until Tuesday the 29th of May, obviously. Our own Fiesel will be there, PJ won't be there, Darkfist will be there. Garrison, are you going to be there? Or MSM?
Nope.
Neither of you?
No.
Can't make it.
You guys are going to be at Awesome Games. Are you planning on it?
I am, but I think I'm the only one who's planning on it out of the Super Metroid group.
Oh, dude, that would be a cool race if you could all go. We'll see, work on it, think about it. But anyway,
8-man race.
yeah, could be, and like any of them could win.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming up 24th. It's over at Accenture's house. I think we're planning a hype show, are we? No, we're doing a recap show.
We're doing an afterwards one.
Yeah.
So that'll be, look out for that afterwards. Obviously, check it out. It will be over at the SDA page. There's a whole load of games going to be on. I can't be bothered to mention what I'm interested in because I'm pretty sure I've done it already. So, yeah, that'll be all good. New records this week. Wait, what does bold mean? This first one's bold, or should they all be
I don't think it means anything. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I think they were supposed to be bold, but we just got lazy.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, we'll roll right into records. So hang on, so we got Symphony of the Night up here and a Symphony of the Night down here.
Two different versions. One's Xbox, one's PSX.
Why didn't we put them next to each other?
They're two
Is that
different
not so?
categories.
I feel like
we put them in chronologically.
Oh, did we?
As they happen, we just pulled out.
We
Alright.
put them in randomologically.
Is this your first week here, Flicky?
Basically, I think Desurect killed the real Flicky and he's now taking control of my role. So,
Okay.
Alright, we got, so Symphony of the Night, any percent, this is out of bounds. ROM Scout, a massive 2-second improvement.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess that was classic ROM Scout where you just decided to play the game for some reason.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I even watched that, and I don't even remember. Like, I wasn't expecting anything good from it, because the whole time he's like, "Oh man, I'm so terrible. Oh, I'm like 40 seconds behind." And then he'd be like, "Oh, I guess never mind. I was a personal best by 2 seconds. Whatever." Like, wasn't even happy about it.
Alright, so if he doesn't care, we don't care, alright? So let's roll on. Is this Oracle of Ages?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, okay, I just wanted to make sure that OOA could be a lot of things.
Wait, there is an emphatic yes from one of our guests, so he can read it out.
Oh yeah, go on then.
Good buddy of mine, Samurai Man. He ran Zelda Oracle of Ages in 2 hours, 56 minutes, and 38 seconds. Very good game, very long, which is probably why it doesn't get the love it deserves, but Samurai Man is a very quality runner. And as such, I'm sure it's a quality run. I haven't seen it myself yet.
Do you know what the previous record was? Was it by him or someone else?
I want to say he had like 2 or 3 minutes off. I know it was just barely under 3 last time I saw it.
So that's like an hour longer than Oracle of Ages, right? Near enough.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy for a 2D Zelda game. That's ridiculous.
For a Game Boy one. Yeah.
Yeah, and a Game Boy one.
Those
at
are
that.
usually just trashed.
That's the one which is like, it's the action-y one, right? Of the two?
That's the more puzzle one.
Oh, it's the puzzle one, right? Okay, that's pretty. I might have to watch that. I should really play through those, but we'll see.
Of the two.
Well, yeah, because it was paired with Oracle of Seasons.
But what about Link's Awakening?
No,
But that was a different
that's a
kind of
different.
set.
You're just
Yeah.
completely neglecting it.
No, I'm not. That's
I'm
a
telling
Game Boy, and that's not a Game Boy Color game anyway. Does anyone remember what the Link you got? If you like linked Seasons and Ages together, what did you get? Does anyone even remember?
Couldn't you?
You got an extra heart.
Is that it?
Is that it?
I mean, you need
There was
to
something
like link
special.
the two to complete the game because if you play them back to back, you get to fight. What's her name? She said,
People are saying
Fuck,
Twin
that's
Rover.
yeah, Twin Rova and Ganon.
Ah.
Huh.
So do these runs just end before that happens, or?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Huh.
So does that mean we'll get to see a 100% complete run? Someone runs one, then the other,
first
then links them.
multi-game SDA run.
That'd be sweet. Well,
There would be a reason for it.
I mean, it would be like
I
5
think,
hours, but that's not the point.
I think when Tampa did his Oracle of Seasons task, there was talk about that in the thread, and he said he wanted to do like the full thing,
Oh.
Oracle of Seasons, and then go right into Oracle of Ages with the extra content.
How can you do that?
So
in
there might be a
task, though?
task with that.
But how can the task switch ROMs?
I'm not sure, but it's
I don't know.
Tampa, so I imagine it'll work out.
I don't know that can be done.
He'll
But
find,
I don't know,
he'll
I
find a
think
glitch that will just load
Yeah.
the other ROM. Anyway, so this one, Garrison, you can do this too, right? This next one.
Harvest Moon. Yes.
So
Harvest
tell us
Moon,
how
yes.
we saw a Harvest Moon run last week. So tell us, how can this run be 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and what does that mean?
This is actually a different category than the one last week due to recent developments that I'm sure were unknown for the past, 16 years or whatever. Basically, if on the first day, when you're going to sleep, if you hold L, R, and select, it automatically skips to the credits, which kind of defeats the fun route planning going
That's boring.
Yeah.
to bed
Um,
300.
I think your Skype cut out. That was your moment. You were meant to jump in there.
Oh, I don't know anything about that game.
No, cool, just go with it.
It's a great run. I loved it.
Good
Excellent.
job, Garrison.
Thanks, Garrison.
Thank you. No problem.
We're gonna roll now into. No, I think we didn't mention that one last week because there was something about cheating, but I guess it's just like an in-game plan cheat. It sounds like almost.
It's legit, but it's boring.
It's legit but boring. All right, that works.
It's not an SCA category.
No.
I will make sure.
Oh no.
All right, then next we got Super Castlevania 4 by Bablo, who we have a video for this, which is interesting because I asked Bablo to make a video and he said that there wouldn't be anything interesting in it. So PJ went and made one. So we can roll that clip. This is an improvement over last. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Go on.
It's not an improvement over last week, is it?
I think he improved it twice this week, didn't he?
I think I don't know. I don't have last week's lock up.
I don't know. I was talking to him earlier in the week about the run, and he's not particularly happy with it, as far as I know. He said it could be better. So I said, "Does that mean it's bad?" And he said, "No, it could just be a
No,
lot better." So
it's definitely not. Like, I think Funk Dog's time is like a little over 35 minutes, like 35:10, 35 something. And this is like, what, 34:29, I think?
there's plenty of moonwalking in it. So
Yeah, I like the walking backwards. That's
Yeah.
fun.
What I like most about this is, like, he really figured out where he has to throw all the crosses for the bosses. Hey, it rhymes. See, there you go. That's the second,
Boss.
or
That's
the
the second
lines
line.
3 and 4 of our poem.
how are you doing
Um,
on that, Fiesel?
Good. I'm making a lot of progress.
Good, kill. Let us know when you're done.
Yeah, it's a really good run. I mean, I like it a lot. He obviously doesn't like it. I like this part in the invisible platforms because that part's terrifying. They're completely random, so if the game just wants to kill you there, it will. Pretty spectacular.
All the best games do that.
One of the most impressive parts, though, is the Salagra fight, because Funkdoc only hits him once per appearance. And Bablo uses this task strategy, and he hits him like 3 times per cycle. Well, not per every other cycle. That's the plan. So he just destroys this boss. Like, the damage he's doing is crazy.
And this is
So he
Bablo,
saves, like-
who he only started running again after he did our show with us.
Right, he came on our show, he hadn't done any speedrunning for a significant amount of time, and he's like, yeah, maybe I should start speedrunning again, and now look at him.
Yeah. He's like, time to get revenge on Funkdoc for taking Castlevania 1. And he's just going at it with relentless fury. So he's only got like 2 weeks left before his speedrunning career ends, because Diablo 3 will be released.
Yeah.
So I expect he'll be going at this pretty hard.
I had a chat with him about that, and as far as I'm aware, while I was talking to him, we were playing some League of Legends, and he said he's got some holiday coming out soon, and my friend was like, oh, you going somewhere? And he was like, no, Diablo 3's coming out. I think he's taken a week or 2 weeks off just to play Diablo 3, so I would mock him, but I can't say I wasn't considering doing the same thing when Anarchy Reigns comes out. But regardless, the next one, PJ, you can do this one too, right? Ninja Gaiden, any?
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exo's Ninja Gaiden run. I think I slept through this. Yeah, this is just insanity. I mean, there's not much else to say about it besides everything, I guess. I mean, like, Exo just started playing this game because it was fun, and then, the last 2 weeks he started getting actually serious about doing attempts, and it's ridiculous. Last week he tied Hodarubi, and he decided that wasn't good enough, so he put an end to it once and for all, beat him by 4 seconds, and it's ridiculous.
It's pretty amazing.
12:04. Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to have this guy on our show like 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Well, here's the scary thing: is there's been a few tremors in the speedrunning world where we've been just chilling out, and then suddenly it gets chill in the air, and suddenly we all fear for our lives. And that happened this week with the revelation that both Exo and Cool Kid are running Half-Life now.
Oh man, what's going to happen?
Well, the scarier part is that neither of them, they both deny that they are. It's like, well, come on, I just saw you streaming, and it's like, no, I'm terrible.
Right, it's just casual.
I am terrified at what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I am predicting a Rygar saga again.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Just even worse. But yeah, so, I mean, Exo, are we surprised? No, not really. These next two, do you want to do these two? Or Garrison, I guess either of you could do them and I wouldn't notice. You can do it. You do it.
Know what the next ones are.
Let me see. Oh, okay. Okay, we have some runs from Diddy Kong Racing, or for Diddy Kong Racing from Oxwaz, our friend from Japan. And it looks like he did 100% with TT, and I don't know what that is. 2 hours and 4 minutes.
It's me.
58 seconds.
I've only ever played without TT, so I never bothered to learn what it was.
He's one of the racers. It's like New Game Plus. You have to unlock him by doing something
clock,
or other.
Right? He's the clock.
Yeah.
I see, and he's a really
faster than
overpowered
everybody
character.
else.
I see. So that's why it's a separate category. Got it.
Yeah. So for comparison, the TAS is like 2:03 something. Okay? So he's within 2 minutes of the TAS on a 2-hour run.
That's
just throwing
pretty
that out there.
obscene. I watched,
Dang, wow.
was Tofu, I was talking about this, he ran Diddy Kong Racing 100% with TT on Nez's N64-a-thon, and it was awesome. So I think that one was like 2:15 or something with TT, and it looked crazy. So
go watch Oxwaz's runs, because they'll just blow your mind. Like, the speedometer is like at max speed the entire time.
So then he did this next run as well, without TT. So, not content with just getting the world record with TT, he had to go get it without him as well, right?
Mhm.
Which 2:18:50.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, yeah, he did.
People are
both of them.
mentioning that the test didn't use TT. So yeah, I guess it would be more fair to compare his second time with the
Yeah.
TAS.
We'll go on then.
I guess that's more reasonable. It's still super.
So yeah, without TT 2:18:50, which apparently is 2 minutes faster than the old record. So what's that? That's 16 minutes behind the TAS. So that's still pretty good for a racing game, because TASes for racing games are absolutely ridiculous. What you have to do is watch a Mario Kart 64 TAS, and you'll be like, what the fuck?
Yes, you will.
I thought we used to have links for these Diddy Kong racing things.
I
I'll
don't-
try and find them. We'll try and put them on the link database.
I don't know what happened.
But if we don't have them, everybody should just subscribe to Ox anyways, because he'll probably be improving these. Or just like send him a message and be like, "Hey, play Diddy Kong Racing." He'll be like, "Okay."
All right.
It's ridiculous.
No. You can do this one as well. Go on, you're on a roll here. Castlevania's sort of like Metroid.
Okay. So we have another run from Funk Doc, and he did Castlevania 3 in 29 minutes 15 seconds as Sypha.
I didn't even know he was working on this one. I guess he probably would have been because he finished with Trevor, right? But how long did that take him to get that? Like a week?
Yeah, I guess it was a week. Is this Japanese Sypha or American?
American.
It's
American.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, again, Funk Doc getting that Castlevania stuff in. So with Bablo and him, I don't think any Castlevania is safe at the moment. Any, at least of the
probably
first
not,
four.
no.
If Rom's going at Soden, then yeah, we're screwed.
The American version Cypher runs are actually really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I've not
Because-
seen them at all, actually.
Yeah, like the Japanese one. You remember that from the CV3 episode
Yeah.
where he uses the Thunderball attack and it just one-hit KOs everything.
Yeah, it just destroys everything. So this is a little
It
bit
doesn't
more
work
actual
in the
fighting.
American version. Yeah. But he actually uses every magic spell in this run. So he uses a lot of ice, obviously, for the sequence breaks and, clipping through floors and all that cool stuff. He uses the thunder for a few fights, actually. I think he uses it against Death. And then he uses fire for the drag fights, and it just obliterates him. Like, I never knew that fire was that strong, but it's crazy. So that's going to be a spectacular run.
Right, and do we know if he's like improving that?
Yeah, I think he wants sub 29,
Of course he does.
which will probably turn into sub 28.
Yeah, really.
Alright, this game I've never even heard of. Fiesel, do you want to do this? Go on.
Okay, Shatterhand, huh? It's a NES platformer. We got a video for it. It's coming up.
Oh my goodness.
It's an interesting game. Like I really enjoyed it when I was a kid, just because I liked the fact that you had this little robo buddy that would follow you around everywhere. And your main character is pretty weak. He just has like this punch, this short range attack. But you get these alphas and betas, and when you get 3 alphas and betas, one of the 8 possible each of the 8 possible combinations is a little helper robot. The helper robot he makes the most use out of in this run is the one that throws grenades. So that's what he aims to get most of the time. And you can also, at some point, you'll see him upgrade, and your helper robot turns into this like power suit that makes you shoot like lasers, and you're really strong. And so that's another thing. It's just like a weird platformer. Lots of odd stuff in it. It's got these water parts. It's got walking on the ceiling. It's got climbing on fences. Just a variety of different.
This looks
gameplay.
pretty good for an NES game, graphics
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looked pretty cool. I like it. This level, the mutant submarine level or whatever, is pretty cool looking.
That's fine. Look at that. You sure this is NES? This looks great.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun game. But anyway, you'll see this at Summer Games, I believe. He's gonna run this. And so here's some pre-Summer Games hype. Is Shatterhand.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, watch it just for this.
You'll notice pre-marathon there's a lot of extra records being broken because people are practicing really hard.
Yeah,
I
really.
remember it before Awesome Games Done Quick, there'd be like 7 or 8 a week of people just being like, hey, I broke my old this time because I was practicing.
Yeah. I remember Cosmos posts, and he's like, "Here's a list of all my MST runs."
I've done 9 MST runs, 3 of them today, and I was like, man, I've done 1 Bayonetta run.
Yeah, 3 months ago.
All right. Then we got Turtles in Time again with Mike Yama. What did he have last time? Do we even remember what his old time was?
Got a video for this one too. Let me see. What did he have last time? I don't remember.
I thought it was a 2050.
2050X.
2050X.
Yeah, exactly. This might be the same clip as this last.
Yeah, is this just the same video as it was last week?
No, I picked different clips at least.
Did you? Is that
2055?
Well, the Baxter fight's always the same.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2050. Yeah.
Oh, it's 2050. Okay.
Mike, knocking more time off of that one. We're going to take credit for that, right?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
yeah, we'll take credit for that.
Yeah, I think it's an 80-20 split between us and Sinister.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't get any credit for the round.
No, not at all. So, as Ford says here, is he's going for a sub 2040, or is that speculation?
I remember him saying that at least once. We'll see if he confirms it in the chat. But
and this isn't going to be Summer Games, is it? I don't think
so.
So
what, at Summer Games, is it?
I don't think it is. I thought Mike said it would be done enough.
Yeah,
I don't think it is.
I don't think so. So Mike, of course, making use of his practice time for the marathon by practicing a game that's not even going to be there.
For the first time ever in a marathon, right? It's not going to be in it. Wasn't this in like every marathon?
It
wasn't at Summer Games.
Super Krang. Yeah.
So right, it wasn't
Mike Uyama, like Fiesel, practicing a run that he's not even going to do. Very good stuff.
Yeah, at least the game I'm practicing is in the marathon, even if it's not the same route.
Yeah, it's
just a much more reckless route.
Yeah.
You probably won't even practice the marathon route, and you'll get there and just be like, oh, wait, I'm going to the wrong pallets.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, and then as this one finishes up, because he's about to kill Shred, not Shredder apparently, just Shred.
Shred, yeah.
And
electric fence highlight.
Yeah. Oh, here we go, there's that picture of April looking her best. And oh my god, it's Splinter's face again. I just remember. Okay, I'm so glad that happened. Alright, okay, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna watch that anymore because that was too good. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is this is the PXX original by Satoru, 3236. I can't even remember what the normal times this game is anymore. But
I thought it was a 29 something on the XBLA version.
Yeah, which is significantly faster as far as I'm aware.
Oh.
I remember seeing Ram was comparing his time with Satoru, and I think he was saying that if you converted it, it would be like 20 or 30 seconds slower than what he submitted.
So, alright. So it's pretty solid run. It just sort of snuck onto this list, and there it is. So, I mean, I guess that's technically a PlayStation. Yeah. It's technically a PlayStation record, right?
What?
Yes. Yeah, it is. By like 2 minutes, looks like.
Okay, and then Garrison, you can do this one. This seems vaguely up your alley, but not at all. But go for it.
Well, our boy Fino did Twilight Princess 100% in 8 hours, 16 minutes, 47 seconds. I can't say I know anything about this run, but Fino is
really
good guy.
He's good at shit like this.
He seems to look like 100% from what I've seen.
Yeah.
In multiple games.
He's got a lot of days that need killing.
That's a lot of time.
So this is
I
the
remember snapping
GameCube one, right?
Yep, GameCube version.
Is this the one where you can turn into a wolf?
Indeed it is.
Right, there we go.
Lots of crazy skips in this game, but what I've heard, it's too random for most people to want to run.
There's a bounty?
Is there a bounty?
I remember there was a $1,000 bounty a while ago for it.
Shit.
I thought that was segmented, or maybe it didn't specify, just 100% run in general. Because EXO was working on it for a while. He did like 5 segments and was like, hold on, I can save 20 frames in segment 3, I'm going to redo it.
So, yeah, I mean, there's been sort of a renewed interest in the not Ocarina of Time Zelda games recently, with people running Skyward Sword and Wind Waker a lunch. I know Cosmo's working on Wind Waker, so I think it's actually kind of cool to see the other ones get broken. I mean, leave Ocarina of Time alone, it's beaten enough. You're kicking a dead horse at the moment. But some of these tricks look very similar. Bombs blowing you through walls and stuff like that.
It's got that super boomerang jump, though, that looks crazy.
That looks pretty sweet.
And dogs singing.
Dogs definitely singing there, yeah. And climbing boxes. Alright, so we're gonna... I mean, I'm actually kind of keen on this. I might have to watch it, even though I've never played the game at all. But it looks pretty interesting. And I mean, Fino's really good at 100% Ocarina of Time, so I can't imagine this is a bad run at all.
Yeah, I think I stopped by during this run. But I remember stopping by at least once this week when he was doing a 100% attempt. And he was like 20-something minutes ahead of his best. Like halfway through.
That's the rule of Legend of Zelda 100% runs. You have to be obscenely far ahead of your splits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll leave this clip rolling while we talk about the next one, which is Dark Souls, any percent. So Thanatos was on it last week, and I did look at his surname, and it is vaguely Mexican, so I'm going to go ahead with my original point, or my original statement that he is Mexican.
He's Canadian, I think.
No,
Didn't we decide that last week?
No, Mike89 said he was French-Canadian, but his surname's Vasquez, or Vasquez. Vasquez. That's not French-Canadian at all. So, I'm right, for now, until proven wrong. So, he broke it. I mean, he was aiming for sub 34 last week, and he got 32.47. So that's pretty good. And I also looked up the skip. It's called the Kiln Skip, and it does actually skip the last half of the game completely. So, good job there. I think it skips like 35 minutes, and now he's working on no skip, so without the skip. So I mean, I'm sure we'll hear about that in the next few days. He did do the Demon Souls run, so yeah, I mean they're pretty similar games. It's mostly running past enemies and then killing bosses in some weird abuse matter, but there you go, should be cool. And then next we have Apescape, 100%. Now I swear, did I not mention this? I didn't mention this last week, did we? I've had a long week, I can tell. Apescape, which we'll have on next week. Tune in. Next week. Tune in for that, any percent. 100% talk. But it's 100% Apescape by our very favourite Sea Chestnut Sushi. What was this? Chestnut Sushi Sea. No. Sea Urchin Sushi. A 2:25.55, which is ridiculous. I think that's 35 minutes faster than what originally was considered to be a really good time, which is 3 hours. And it's 20 minutes faster than the next fastest run. So that's pretty good. This guy is the person who has the any percent record as well. So I imagine it's pretty good. I really need to find some of his runs, but that includes all the coins, and I'm pretty sure it includes getting all the time trials done and catching every monkey. So that's... If it doesn't include time trials, it's doing every level twice. If it does, it's doing every level 3 times. So yeah, that's pretty obscene. And then finally, getting on the show at last, Apescape 3 by Surreal in 1:37.28. Again, he originally thought that 145 was as fast as you can get. But he's found a whole bunch of tricks, which I wanted him to make a highlight video so I could talk about this for a while, but he hasn't, so whatever. He's found a whole bunch of tricks where you can like climb on things you shouldn't be able to climb on, or skip entire rooms and stuff like that. And then he thought, well, this is good. So he found this huge trick, which basically in the game there's a bunch of break rooms where when you play through the game a second time, you can open up these hidden rooms, and inside there's 4 monkeys in there. And you open it up, go in there, catch them all, and that's part of completing the game 100%. So he managed to find ways into this room without the suit that you meant to need to get in.
Oh man.
So that was like huge deal. He found a whole load of them, and I learned how to do them all. And we were practicing them, and it was like, I was like, wow, that's awesome. That's going to cut like 2.5 minutes off the run at least. So we're playing around with it, and I start a run, and I'm like, all right, Surreal, which of the levels these tricks are in? Just remind me when I get to them. And he's like, all right, cool. So we're rolling along. I get to the first level. I glitch through the door, and I can't enter the room. I can't go in. And he's like, huh. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I can't go in. I can't walk. And he's like, no, just walk forwards. And I'm like, no, I'm running into the wall. I can't get into this room. Like, I'm through the door, but the room won't load properly. And he's like, huh. And I was like, did you try this on New Game Plus, on New Game, not just on, your 100% file? He's like, no, I didn't. And I was like, oh. Alright then. So I left the room, carried on playing, got to the next one, tried to get through the door. Again, couldn't get into the actual room. I could get through the door, couldn't get into the room. And then he got to another one later on, and he was like, okay, I tested this one, you can get into the room. And I was like, sweet. So I carry on playing. This is during my personal best run as well. And I get into the room, load into the room, and none of the monkeys are in there. So there's nothing in there, so I'm like, oh shit, like the monkeys aren't even in there. Even if you could find a way into these rooms, you can't catch any, because they don't spawn until you finish the game.
That's a pretty underhanded trick to get an advantage.
Yeah, so we were, needless to say, we were a little bit sad about that.
Yeah.
So he found this huge skip, which it would save, I don't know, like 2 to 3 minutes at least. And it doesn't work, so we're kind of bummed out about that. So it was kind of funny at the time, but it's also pretty depressing. Either way, he's found a bunch of cool stuff, and this run is actually pretty good. It's really solid run. So 137.28. I suggest you check it out because Ape Escape 3 is amazing. Go watch the run, send Mikuyama a PM saying, hey, this needs to be at Ailson Games done quick, and then we're done. We're rolling on, so...
Just have Fiesel do that.
Oh, have Fiesel do it, yeah.
I'll just suggest it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just say you're going to run it, and then I'll just, like, cut my hair like yours and sit down.
Oh, wow. So I'll be pretending to be PJ, and you'll be pretending to be me.
Yeah, and then PJ won't be there, so...
I'll be at the bar.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a coat rack with a hat on top of it. Umbrella.
So Surreal's going to stop working on any %1 and is now going to work on all monkeys, which is any %2, as far as I know. So give me some time to catch up, something like that. Anyway, yep, which includes Goat Lord, so it's a good category. As far as I'm aware, there's some other stuff, but the runs were secret or hidden or private, so I don't know if we want to talk about them. I'm thinking Monkey Ball.
Yeah, this Monkey Ball run, we could just talk about next week and make a clip for it.
Yeah, that'll probably be better.
We'll put it next week anyways and talk about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd seen the link, but it was private, so I don't know if we were meant to talk about it or not, so...
Well, Miles is in here.
Well, he can talk about it then.
Let's see if Bruce. I saw his old run though. I guess it was a 748. This is a 727. I think the old one had like 2 deaths in it or something, and it like totally blew my mind when I saw that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Alright, yeah, I guess we can talk about that next week. We'll remember to do it. As far as submissions and tasks, I got nothing. But for big races, I guess we'll give Garrison and M a chance to talk about Super Metroid races Friday nights, right?
Yes.
Go on then. The floor is yours.
Originally, this all stemmed out from our good friend Sloop, who MS already mentioned is doing the low percent SMW. He has been taking up Japanese as a side language, and I mentioned kind of off the top of my head that it'd be great to race some of these guys on the Japanese Nico page because they had similar times, and we haven't seen anything from them. And about a week later, we actually had a race set up at like some ridiculous time at midnight Eastern time. And it kind of spun a little bit out of control at first. I made the race channel before I went to work, and when I came back, there were like 26 people in it.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
And then RaceBot crashed.
And then RaceBot died in the middle of the race, right?
Fortunately, we haven't had that happen with one of the big races yet.
That's fortunate. That's lucky.
Well, that is awesome. You know?
Yeah.
It's always nice to see the Japanese and the the rest of the world being mixed up together and working together a little bit.
What time is midnight Eastern in Japanese time? Is that like 6 p.m. or something?
1 p.m.
Alright.
So just after lunch. They usually have a quick message saying lunch or something like that.
But that's like the next day. That's a Saturday then. If it's Friday night midnight, that's 1 p.m. Saturday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, they've been cool. I've always liked looking because the times for Super Metroid are really competitive, and I find perhaps compared to other games, it's really up in the air who is actually going to win. Like,
yeah, there are so many people.
Yeah,
so many people different, like roughly the same skill level. And Super Metroid is a game where if you die, you're dead. It's over. Both me and MSDS actually died in this Friday night race, so we lost like 250 points each.
I've seen many of the 5 entries, 4 forfeits, 10 entries, 8 forfeit runs because people have died, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's a whole bunch of people so close to each other. So
it definitely is. But yeah, that's every Friday at midnight Eastern. If anyone even wants to play casually, we accept all skill levels, so head on over to Speedruns Live and hang out.
Yeah, even SMK joins those races, and he doesn't even know what the route is, so...
Speaking of French-Canadian.
He's not French-Canadian, he's regular Canadian. Right?
Oh,
A fine attempt at segue, though.
Yeah.
I was trying. He was
Feasible.
translating some French or something at the AGDQ, so...
I think he was saying an Italian name, that's what you're thinking of.
Okay, sure. We'll say that's the case.
I'm not sure if that's what happened, but we'll go with that. Just
I like that better.
Alright, Feasible, do you have your limerick done, or do you need some more time?
I'm still working, making progress though.
Alright, okay, cool. Alright, I think we're going to go straight into Super Metroid this week, because I've looked at the notes, and there is much to discuss. So, we can also always do filler at the end if we need to. But let's roll right into Super Metroid, any percent. Which, Jesus, I don't know who... Which of you wants to start on this, because I'm not going to pretend I know any of it.
I don't know, MS, do you want to say something to start off?
You can go ahead, man. You know the history pretty well.
Okay, so back before any of us were really playing this game, Super Metroid has been like a really competitive game to speedrun. The earliest that we know of, since we're both kind of newer to the quote-unquote scene, was Smokey got a 38-minute in-game time back in the day, which was, I think, been supplanted by a segmented 36, and then eventually a single segment 36, and that was at the time like the end-all be-all of Super Metroid. And it was a little bit quiet for a while, and there was kind of like in hushed tones talk about people saying, "Oh my God, I got a 35," or "Oh my God, I got a 34," and people submitted. I think it's either Grigsky or Grubu who had a 34 that they submitted, and lo and behold, another person submitted a run, and that was a guy who was already mentioned on the show earlier for Ninja Gaiden, Ruby, he submitted a 32, which actually blew a lot of people's minds. Back on Metroid 2002, there actually went back and read some of the thread, and there were a lot of people who actually thought it was a cheated run, which is kind of funny nowadays.
32 is still pretty insane now, right?
Yeah, there are only 4 people on the planet with 32 right now.
Yeah.
But,
And one of them's PAL.
Yeah, one of them's PAL, which kind of doesn't really carry over as cleanly as people would like. But, I don't know. Like, I guess I could talk about our history as far as how we got into it.
Oh yeah, go for it. I mean, whatever you want to mention, we got plenty of time.
Yeah. I don't know how MS found Speedruns Live, but I found it actually through Zelda. I was interested in Ocarina of Time, which I'm no longer interested in.
Ocarina of Time is the gateway drug.
Yeah.
The SRL.
Yeah, it really is. Like, everyone knows at least a little bit of that game. But,
Except the 3 hosts somehow.
Except us.
I don't know anything else.
I've never even finished it.
if you know people can clip through a wall, you know the game.
Yeah. With
time
bombs,
travel,
right?
whatever. Yeah, it's good enough. But I tried some Zelda. I never actually joined any races, but then I noticed people were running Super Metroid, and that's a game that I'd played a lot as well. And there were various Heat races back in the day.
Yeah, I remember there was so many various suit races. Like, there was a ration. But that's so short.
Yeah, well, back then it was like a 15, 16-minute race. But it was our gateway drug into the game, really. MSDS was the champion for most of it.
Yeah, that was when I originally came to SRL. You know, there was no one was really running Super Metroid aside from, you know, there was maybe 12 races total in the history of SRL. And then so I kind of I pitched these, hey, let's just race to Variasuit, or let's just race to Power Bombs, as like a way to say, get people into, the feel of the game. And we had a lot of races like that, and I think that's how me and Garrison kind of originally hooked up.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty interesting because, like, back then, MSDS was so much better than I was, and I really looked up to him. And eventually, we moved on to, like, goals further in the game, like Power Bombs, and then eventually any %, and the numbers changed, and it pretty much just became me, MSDS, and our buddy Cassius, who was much better than both of us at the time. And it was just a lot of fun, and as it grew, more and more people watched, and the numbers grew, inspired by, like, our races, and people just really enjoyed it. And the more people who came in, the more competitive it got, the more and more times went down. I never would have taken the game seriously, but I mean, here we are.
Yeah. But I mean, Super Metroid's a great game for speedrunning and for racing. I mean, it's one of those games where the better you are, the more technically proficient you are, the faster you go. I mean, that's really the mark of a good speedrun game, is that, by playing more skillfully, you actually can go a little bit faster, as opposed to the kind of platformer where you just hold right and jump, and, the fastest time is the one where you don't run into anything or stop, I mean, Super Metroid, you gotta... like Rygar, exactly. No, definitely. That's a perfect example. So...
Yeah, there's like, and we'll talk about all the tricks and techniques and stuff in a bit, but, there's just so much opportunity for little small time-saving, tricks. It's kind of similar to, like, A Link to the Past in a way.
Right, you try to play along and copy someone else, and, like, you're just losing frames all over the place, and you don't even know, what it is. It's
right.
Like lots of little things that add up.
But, yeah, I guess, I think that pretty much covers the history.
Well, there's a whole load more stuff here.
Oh, that's right. Well, we didn't talk about, after Ruby submitted his 32, he posted a 31. I think this was in 2008.
It's just crazy that the record stood for that long. Like, that's
yeah,
obscene.
Yeah, and that hasn't been touched since, not by any NTSC player anyway. It hasn't been touched on PAL either, but that's a kind of a different thing. But yeah, and the craziest part was that he was using real-time strategies. Well, a lot of real-time strategies anyway. So things that make your game faster real-time, but don't necessarily make your faster game time. But he still got a 31, so...
Didn't he save the animals too?
That's the 32 he did, yeah.
The 32
Oh,
is to save the animals.
He's like, oh, I'm not getting a 31, I'll just save the animals.
Okay, I thought he did the 31 too, just to rub it in.
That would be scary. That would be horrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I guess-
Hydrobeast got a
yeah.
31, and then a couple people have gotten 32s. Garrison has got one of the people who's gotten a 32.
Yes, I have gotten a 32, and one of the Japanese players, Fusiana, also has a 32. We both got it like within a week of each other, which was kind of cool.
so who?
And
Who is the other one?
over in the PAL lands, people know him as Gigantic Behemoth, but Behemoth, arguably, I think MS and I can both agree, is probably the best active player in the world right now.
His run is ridiculous. I remember watching that. He did the segmented one, right?
Yeah, he did a segmented 100%, and he also has an 80% run, which is equally amazing on his YouTube.
Well, I guess this would be a good time to mention like what is the PAL differences then. Yeah, because this has
PAL
confused
is-
me when I've asked
it's
about it.
Very sticky the way it is. I don't really fully understand like the comparisons between the in-game clocks, but just basic stuff like there are certain tricks you can't do because Samus has different velocities mid-air, I guess.
Yeah, well, in order to compensate for the lower frame rate, I guess, they sped up Samus's speed, so it would kind of feel more like the NTSC version would, and it just kind of created all these little small nuances in terms of speedrunning. Like the doors open slower, but Samus still moves at the same speed. So there's just a lot of like small, minute adjustments you have to make if you're playing PAL. So it's almost like you could almost do like a whole episode on the PAL version of this game just because there's so much different stuff on there.
So I just wanted to get a general like slight difference because I've heard all sorts of stuff. So
Like enemy placements are different, a lot of different tricks. Like there is one variation of a trick we'll talk about later, the Crate Quick Kill, that you just can't do the same way in PAL because just the animations are different.
Yeah, also certain shine sparks can't be done. Like there's ways to shine spark across a lot of top of rooms, and we'll talk about shine sparking. But you can't do it because the shine spark timer isn't adjusted for the frame rate. So it's actually, you get less of a shine spark timer with PAL, so you can't do as much.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
So yeah, that's a lot of shit. I was expecting a few things like the clock doesn't work or this doesn't work, but yeah, it
No, it's a dramatically different
it
game.
doesn't even sound close. Like
Yeah, enemy knockback is different as well as far as velocity is concerned.
I believe there's a
Surprisingly,
different damage boost as well that they can do.
Yeah.
But the
So all the
enemies being
changes-
placed differently, that's weird. Because it's not even a timing issue. They had to actually go through and move the enemies around. Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's quite a mystery how, that some things that are different. There's rooms where there's rising lava, but in the PAL version, like the lava rises immediately, whereas in NTSC it like doesn't rise for at least 10 seconds. Well, maybe not that far, but just strange choices.
all right, weird. So let's roll into records. We sort of mentioned that, and then I just want to ask about game time versus real time, because to me, having records be determined by a whole minute difference seems a bit
Bad.
Yeah, I didn't want to say bad. It seems fortunate now that only one person seems to have ever got 31. But if you were all on 32, I'm pretty sure none of you would be happy with it. So go over records a bit and just talk about the game time, real time thing, because that's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, but like Super Metroid is kind of divided into two different factions. There's the people who really like the game time, which is, the game clock that works pretty much any time that you're not in a door transition, an item box, or the pause menu. And then there's us, both me and MSDS, are more real-time people, despite this run being shown being a game-time run.
Because for racing, because you guys are the racing community, and so obviously you can't care about in-game time.
Yeah, going for in-game strats in a race is a foolish idea.
Yeah. Right. And we're also, for the reason that Flicky just mentioned, it's easy to anticipate a time where, there's going to be multiple people who have 31-minute game times, and one could be a very low 31 and another could be a very high, but due to the current, standard, quote-unquote, those would be considered TWR, which, is not very fair.
Yeah, a good example is Ruby actually has 2 31s. We found another one on his Nico page that we actually didn't know about. I don't think anyone really knew about it outside of Japan until recently. And that run is so much worse than the 31 we knew about, but they would be tied to world records in the eyes of most of the Super Metroid communities.
So I thought that was a neat ROM hack that you had that showed the in-game time with second granularity.
Oh yeah, that's actually what I used here. I was testing it out, and I just happened to have a really good run, unfortunately, when I was using this. So at the end of this game.
It's the same game, though, and you don't even get any other information that's different until the end of it.
Yeah, it's completely identical, other than 2 bytes were changed that don't actually do anything in the game until the escape sequence plays out, and Samus flies away in her ship.
Yeah. So that's neat. So if people do really want to take this, the in-game time as far as they can go, and it might help to have something like that. But obviously,
that's the thing is if the original design of the game had the seconds on the final game timer, this probably wouldn't even be an issue. But because it only displays the minute, that's where the whole discrepancy comes along, and that's why we think real time is ultimately better.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, the 31 game time record is also the real time record, right?
Currently, yes, it's sitting at 49 minutes 24 seconds.
And does the PAL version compare at all real time, or is it slower? Or
as far as I know, it's much slower in terms of real time. It wouldn't be comparable, but I don't know by how much because we haven't messed around with PAL outside of one race for fun.
Okay, so I got a question.
You skip in the PAL version, right?
Yeah, you can skip them if you really want to, but
you can skip them in the NTSC version, can't you? But it's a series of frame-perfect tricks.
Yeah, it's task only. It's not going to happen in real time, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like a series of probably like 15 things that you have to do frame perfect, and it's not going to happen in real time.
Behemoth did it in the PAL version, right?
Yes. In PAL, because of the different speeds of Samus and the different frame rates, it's actually quite doable in real time. Although it's still not easy. It's still definitely a difficult trick.
Okay. Which is probably a large part of the reason why it is a segmented run.
Yeah, that was the only difference until now that I knew between the PAL and NTSC versions. So when I saw his segmented time was 32, I was really surprised.
But completely forgot what I was talking about. But as far as like records go, real time is getting really competitive these days. It's a really interesting time for Super Metroid right now because there has never been this much competition in the game.
There's a whole bunch of you under 50 minutes now, right?
Yeah, 2 of the Japanese players, Emotoron and Fusiana, have sub 50 runs. I have a sub 50, and DBX has a sub 50 as well. He's another good friend of ours.
3 of those on SRL as well, which is crazy.
Yes.
So
in a race, which
yeah.
That's off to them because that's pretty amazing.
That's to say, if you guys have not watched Super Metroid Race on SRL, you need to start doing it because I said that, like, the times you guys are getting in races are like world class. It's ridiculous. So yeah.
So this is a good segue to talk about the runners because we're talking about some of the people who race here.
So it sounds like there's a load of people.
Oh yeah, I think last time we looked at the list, there are roughly 70 people with any percent times on SRL.
Cool.
That's ridiculous.
Plus roughly 15 runners on the Nico page. There are quite a few people left over on M2K2. who still have passive interest in the game. And
People seem to like DBX, or at least they like saying DBX. I'm not sure which it is.
A combination too. DBX is a really good guy, and he has a really good name, so it's easy to
pretty
chant.
cool to say, DBX. Yeah, sounds pretty sweet.
He's also really good at Super Metroid.
He's probably the most consistent out of all of us, I'd say.
That helps then. So yeah, I mean, if you just want to list a few, we got some old school runners here, and then some others. Just list them all off. Yeah.
I included probably the most significant in that Smokey and Hot Ruby, because they really shook the foundation of what we know as Super Metroid speedrunning today. And
so Cool Kid's an old school.
He retired, unfortunately. He
just mean that he
had
doesn't play
to stay in the sun.
I don't know if someone just put that name on the list.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a joke or not.
And people's brains just filled in the fact that he probably was.
Yeah.
Well, he started playing it, and there was like 2 days that he played it, and he got really good at it, and then quit.
Yeah,
so that was
sounds
kind of
about
fun.
right.
Yeah, cutting the one is a really difficult thing to do. It took a lot of runs for, I believe, either of us to do that, and Cool Kid came in like a week's time and cut the one.
Yeah, I saw he had a 40-minute game time complete on the leaderboard, and I was like, why am I surprised that he's there? Like, but anyway, enough about how good Cool Kid is. We can talk about him pretty much every episode from now on, but yeah.
But as far as like current runners, I would say on the American side, or I guess the English-speaking world, we got myself, MSDS, DBX, who we've already mentioned, Cassius. We're all sitting roughly on the same skill level. The three of them have a 33, I have a 32, but that's because I actually went for game time strats in this run that we're watching. The next, I guess, tier would be our buddy Frozen Cup, Jackifer, and Impulse. They're sitting at 35s and roughly 2 minutes slower in terms of real time, which is still really amazing. It's really cool watching those guys grow because they were all kind of viewers for a while. Jackifer ran the game back in the day, but he was actually inspired to come back to it after seeing Uranium Anchor's run during the marathon.
Oh, that's cool.
But in terms of like other people around the world, we've already mentioned the Japanese runners, but these guys are really amazing. If you haven't like watched them, definitely check in next time there's a big Friday night race, because Fusiana, Motoron, and Hypo34 are some of the best players in the world. I'd say Hypo34 overall, through all the different Super Metroid categories, he's easily the best current player when it comes to the obscure stuff. He does like low percent single segments and reverse boss order, just which is not something people do. People do that in like segmented runs over the course of a long time.
Reverse boss order. What's involved in doing that?
A lot of bullshit.
That sounds a lot of sequence breaks.
That's an honest answer. I like it.
Yeah.
It's basically you get as many energy tanks and super missiles as you can, and then you have to do what they call a hell run through Lower North Air because you don't have the Varia suit. So you have to make use of all the ammo, all the crystal flashing, E-tank, as many E-tanks as you can get. It's an interesting run, but it's also very laborious, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a lot more eloquent way of putting it than Garrison did.
Oh, but apparently Desi will be doing RBO at the Summer Games bonus stream.
That could be.
He should. He's done it before.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun. See, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's
a good watch for sure. Even if you're a casual fan of the game, just seeing it broken like the way the RBO does, it's pretty interesting.
All right, and then as far as categories, I mean, there are a whole load of categories for it. So, if you just want to briefly mention those, because I said we'll be doing 100% in a different one because there's too much shit in this game.
Yeah, 100% is its own thing.
We'll be doing that in a future episode, so we're not going to completely ignore it. But if you want to quickly go over all the categories that there are, and then explain a little bit about game time and real time, because I mean, every game I know, there's a big difference between real time routes and game time routes generally. So
yeah. Basically, it stems into three main categories, I feel. There's the any percent, the 100%, and then there's low percent, which is ridiculous. They're all pretty much, they come as they are. 100% you get all the items. Low percent you go complete the game with as few items as you can. Low percent actually has 2 divisions in it, one based on speed and another based on difficulty. Contrary to what you think, you can get the speed booster and the speed path, and it's actually a much more difficult run because enemies take a lot more shots because the faster route gets ice beam, which adds more damage to your shot. And
what is the out of curiosity? What are the percentages you finish with for low percent and any percent?
Low percent is 14%, and any percent can be anywhere roughly from 23% to 26%, I'd say, for like top tier players. There are a lot of things that you can skip.
Being missiles and energy tanks or something? What's the percent difference?
The lowest any percent route that makes sense skips the Spazer Beam, an energy tank, and a super missile pack. And that's some pretty insane stuff. That's back in the day, people didn't think people were going to do that, and we actually never considered skipping Spazer itself until we saw how good the Japanese players are at it. I'm pretty much convinced that it may not be faster in terms of game time, but in terms of real time, there is probably a good 5 seconds they can gain just from skipping it.
Huh.
And in a game like Super Metroid, just checking out at races, it's a game that's down to the second.
Yeah. I've seen ties before, so...
And then 14%, what are you skipping there?
You skip,
Or rather, what do you get? That's probably a faster thing.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Like I said, you can get Ice Beam or Speed Booster depending on what you want to go for, speed or difficulty. Ice Beam is much faster. It's like a good 6 or 7 minutes faster.
Oh.
But you get both suits. You get 3 energy tanks, 2 missile packs, 2 super missile packs, a thing of power bombs, and that's about it.
So does the X-ray climb stuff, is that just ignored?
That's like 6%, you said, right?
You can do that, but you have to be incredibly bored to even want to do that.
That's a lower than low percent.
Like, I don't know if anyone has ever seen the task of that, but you literally spend like 10 minutes inside a wall, and you spend another 10 minutes inside a wall.
Yeah, you sure
and that's
do.
the entirety of the run.
So would like a low percent run that uses the X-ray climb? We mentioned before when we were talking about low percent, one of the other episodes, that it's by percent first and then time. So if you had a really good run that used Ice Beam and all that other stuff, and someone just went along and did an hour-long run with the X-ray climb, better, or is it like low percent with major skips versus?
I wouldn't verify it, and I would say it goes into
it's too low
because
percent.
it significantly glitches out the game as well, because you actually need to have a separate file to do that memory corruption thing.
Yeah, I think the testers actually classify. They don't even classify that as low percent, if I remember correctly. It's just like any percent with major glitches. I don't even think they classify it as low, just because it is so broken.
Bad percent.
Bad percent. That's good.
Bad percent. Yeah, I agree with that. That is a
Low
terrible run,
percent.
and I'm happy every day I wake up and see that no one has done it yet.
So that works, right? But we can now talk about TASes.
Sure.
Because that's our next section here. Look, oh my god, that is good stuff. It's almost like we planned it. I mean, we didn't plan it at all, but
no,
it's not the point.
Any percent in terms of TASes aren't exactly comparable because they have a much different route where they skip like all kinds of beams and they get extra power bombs and stuff like that. So it's not really worth talking. As far as like actually doing our route, the 2 biggest ones would be a guy by the name of Reeve. He did a 28-minute save state run back in the day that didn't really focus on the amount of re-records. It was more like, here's what you can do.
It's an early task in that they weren't frame by framing it. It was just some guy using save states going through the game. Huh?
Well, it was actually, the purpose of it was to give a theoretical limit or a ceiling to what the best, run could be done by a human. So in other words, they're not going to use all the task tricks. They're going to do stuff that could theoretically all be done, but with the consistency of having save states in each room to be able to have, no mistakes, basically.
That's quite insane that that's down to 28. So that's
but
3 minutes. I mean, it's obviously unlikely to ever happen, but that's like huge.
But this was long before Harubi, then, right?
No. This was after.
This was
that
maybe
31.
2009, 2010.
Oh, not that long ago then. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then a new one actually came out by our buddy Desirect. He has been doing like route guides for all kinds of different racing routes, and they serve kind of more in terms of like theory tasks, in my opinion, kind of giving you like, here's how far it can be pushed. This one had a lot more re-records, but as a result, it pushed the time down to something that I don't think anyone really thought it would be with human level playing, because like I said, it was just a save state run with a lot of re-records. It was a 26-minute run.
26.
It's ridiculous.
23,000 re-records.
Yeah, which is a pretty good amount.
That's pretty,
That's about par for the course for a task nowadays.
For tasks nowadays, yeah, that's true.
I think Tampa's Lawnmower Man task was up to 23,000. We didn't even get like 3 minutes in.
Oh dear.
But yeah, the point of those tasks is, once again, they're almost like demonstrative tasks to just show what the theoretical possible would be. The theoretical limit for a human player.
They're kind of useful. Like, it's not something that you just think. Like, there are tricks in there you could actually learn if you can't already do them, right?
Mm-hmm. I've actually picked up the one that Desirect did. He did an earlier version, maybe 8 to 9 months ago. I actually picked up a lot of tricks from that I use in this current run. A lot of missile management as well, because that's something that becomes very important in any percent.
I'm just quite scared of how much more there is you could technically improve in this game.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Quite
think.
worrying.
How much time would it cost, like on the in-game timer, to actually use the save rooms? Like, how much time would you technically be losing in a segmented run?
On the in-game timer?
Yeah.
On the in-game timer, it's a good 6 seconds, maybe.
Well, that's whenever the game loads back up, and there will be like a little animation, I guess, showing you like loading up from the save station, that the game timer is going while that animation is going, and then you also have to factor in, the bit of, I guess, like diverting from the route to go to the save station, because normally there's like one save station in the whole any percent route that you go through normally without having to enter an extra door or anything.
Okay.
It's not really
well, if it's only like, yeah, I'm just trying to think. If you like spent 2 years working solidly on a segmented run, even if you segmented heavily and just eat that penalty, could you technically break into the 20s? Do you think? Or are the tricks like really that execution heavy?
It's hard to say, because like a while ago there was actually a dude. He actually just had a run published on SDA. I don't know how to say it. Let's call him 72. He wanted to get a 30 segmented, and that kind of faltered a little bit. So we think that you could probably get a 29 segmented if you really wanted to, but I honestly don't think it's going to happen, because there isn't really anyone who's interested in that high level segmented run.
Yeah, and we're kind of from the camp that we think a single segment is a little bit more impressive, I guess.
Definitely more meaningful.
I agree.
But, yeah, more meaningful, exactly.
Because if I really wanted to, I could probably sit there for a month or two and like grind out a 30 or whatever, and technically have a world record, but it wouldn't really mean a whole lot to me since it wasn't single segment.
And then you'd never be able to race again, because you'd only remember the last segment of gameplay.
Yeah.
You do that bit really well.
Yeah. Does anybody want to race Torian? What?
Alright, so let's start to dip into this boatload of tricks. Yeah, general techniques, tricks, all that sort of stuff. So we work through, I think we got a whole load of clips for some of the later stuff here, so we can get some explaining going on, but let's do your best, guys. You know.
Yeah. Why don't you start by telling us about the different kinds of balls that you can use?
Oh, baby.
Let's talk about balls.
Let me tell you about the balls. All right.
Let's see about the
I guess
balls.
MS would probably be better if we're talking about the different
Okay,
balls.
MSDS, tell us about your balls.
All right. I'm a ball expert, so I'll go ahead and take that. So there are certain tricks you can do that involve having the morph ball in your inventory. The most famous that pretty much everyone knows, if you know anything about it, is the the mock ball. And that is basically where you kind of run, jump, and morph right as you're hitting the ground. And if you do it at the right time and with the right input, you can keep your horizontal momentum through the morph and then continuing along the ground. And that's probably one of the, it's the reason that there is the biggest sequence break, quote unquote, in the game, which is early super missiles. But yeah, that's what the mock ball is for. And there's also many opportunities to do mock balls throughout the run. But yeah, you can see this one here. Basically, that bridge normally, if you don't have speed booster, you would run into those gates as they're closing. If you're just standing and running, but because you can do the mock ball, you can obviously be in the ball form, so you can go underneath the gates, and you can also be going fast enough to not fall through the bridge, which is all crumble blocks.
That's not even intended, because when I watched, because that clip there, it might not be that exact one, but I think it is in the intro to the Sunday sequence break. And I was watching it, and I was like, this clip doesn't look like it belongs here. It looks like he's just going through the room normally. But yeah, it's actually
that's the beauty of Super Metroid.
Yeah,
everything was intentional.
Right. And we'll touch on that as we talk about the rest of the stuff. But I personally believe that they intended for this that glitch to be done because it does create a lot of opportunities and route possibilities.
Okay.
sure. There's more balls, right? I mean, I haven't had my fill of balls yet.
Oh, we got more balls for you.
All right, let's go.
The other one, the other biggest one is a bounce ball, which not as quote unquote game breaking, but it's pretty useful because you can carry your momentum. It's basically just like a mock ball, except instead of mocking as you're about to hit the floor, you mock in the midair, you morph in the midair. And then you can use that to kind of bounce over gaps. You can use it to kind of just as a way to save time here and there. So probably not as significant of a trick, but it's one that looks really cool.
It does look really cool. People are always impressed when they see, I don't know if we'll talk about it now or later, but there's one that we call the Ice Palace bounce ball or something. It's really neat. See, I guess I could send a link because we did highlight that somewhere.
Yeah. The important thing to remember about this game is that all the tricks that give you style points are also faster. So it's a really good game for speedrunning if you enjoy looking cool and being fast at the same time.
This is crazy damage boost. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a game that Trihex would appreciate if he were to give it a chance.
Well, I always appreciate games with good damage boosting. And this has got
these
some great
damage boosts are insanity.
You move real fast, you get quite a distance on them, and it's it's not easy to damage boost like in most games where you just got to hit the enemy and face a certain way. Takes some doing. So that's good.
Right. Yeah, damage boosting is a really interesting thing as well. Like the way it works is there are 4 frames of, I guess, opportunity where you can have it, and each one has a different sort of knockback to it. I kind of have it backwards, so MS will probably have to correct me, but I believe this first frame gives you more vertical height but less speed, and as you progress through the frames that you can do it...
Was that a bounce ball there?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it cut off your highlight.
No.
Did it cut off my highlight? Dang.
Yeah.
Right before it happened.
That's too bad because it's so cool looking.
That's how you set up the bounce ball. You'll have to find out for yourself how it looks.
What happens next?
Fill in the gaps, yeah. Answers on a
Set that-
postcard to the usual address.
We'll just blame Twitch. They don't like Super Metroid.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, you're talking about damage boosting, and certain frames you're the wire, and
yeah. Like, basically, the earlier, the more vertical height and the less speed, and it kind of trades positions where the last one has a lot of speed, but you don't really get any height off of it. And depending on like how frame perfect you want to get, you can manipulate it a certain way. There we go.
Yeah, Duckfist found the clip for us.
there it was.
Well done, Duckfist.
Working hard, he's earning his no pay, but you know. So,
Amazing.
alright,
No,
so,
so much beer at AGDQ.
alright, we're gonna unleash the drunk fist, right? Alright, and now, these are some of my favourite ones, the speed booster related tricks, just because of how, like, ridiculously fast you go. It's obscene. So if you want to, like, mention some of these are next on the list, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit sticky because of the way the speed booster actually works. MS can probably correct me on this. There are two different like timers, I guess, for when you
Counters.
get speed. Yeah, counters. But traditionally in the game, you would run along, and the game says, "Hey, you passed this frame," so it's going to give you like one tick towards getting the blue part or speed going, so you can shine spark. And it also adds to your speed, but if you actually tap the run button at those frames instead of holding it the entire time, you can get shine sparks in shorter amount of spaces, including a lot of spaces that break the game just a little bit. Let's see, what's a good one off the top of my head? I mean, you use it in one of the boss fights a lot, which is really cool to watch, but I guess we'll save that for later.
The biggest sequence break that you get from shine sparking is skipping or going to the wreck ship early in the quote-unquote natural route. What someone would do the first time they were playing when they were going to the wreck ship, they would see the little grapple beam blocks in the ceiling, and you can't just jump over the moat where those grapple beam blocks are. So you would go get the grapple beam and then use that to get across to get to the wreck ship. And I think Duckfist has got it here. By charging your shine spark, you can actually shine spark across that moat. And that basically allows you to skip ever having to use the grapple beam, which is, you pretty much never have to use grapple beam for anything in any percent.
Thankfully. Grapple beam is bad. Just want to say that right now.
But you can see he's going underneath all those, those grapple blocks up there, the little plus signs. So not only is it a sequence break, it's also, a lot faster than just grapple beaming across.
Yeah, I always like the ones where you fly through the air just because of how ridiculous it is. You're just gone.
Right. Yeah, they're used in a lot of places just for speed or basic travel, because you can technically make it across the moat, but it's slow and frame perfect. So we opt for the cooler, flashier, and also faster method.
There was a puzzle race that involved getting into the wreck ship without the shine spark, right?
Yep,
I
there
seem
were
to remember
many,
people.
actually.
Oh, there were. Okay, I seem to remember people like sitting there and banging their head against that trick for a long time.
Should have just
Yeah,
bomb jumped all the way over. Like a man.
I'll jump there. I've
Yeah,
seen
the one-
someone do. Yeah.
I was just going to say, the one thing that you'll find about this game is that, Deer Force, who, the producers and creators of this game, developers of this game, they left it they left it wide open. There are so many different ways to do so many different things. That particular thing, you can bomb jump across. You can also do a wall jump, a continuous wall jump across. And that's actually what opens the possibility for the low percent categories, is that you can get over there without speed booster or grapple beam.
Quick piece of trivia. When I first played this, I didn't know you could wall jump. So I found out that you could bomb jump, and I was like, oh, this is great. I can go anywhere I want now. So my first playthrough was like 8 hours long, because whenever I had to go anywhere, I just bomb jumped.
Good stuff,
You didn't see
PJ.
those creatures that were trying to teach you? There's
I didn't know what
creatures
they were. I couldn't
that
kill
were
them, so I
trying to
just
help
left.
you. Yeah, I had a friend who was. I was just talking to him last week, and he said that one of the things he hated about this game is he got to the point where he was stuck down in a pit somewhere, and there's this bird, and that's all he could do. He couldn't get out, and he stopped playing the game.
I think we've all had that experience when I played this game as a kid.
The bird kept running away and smashing his head on the ceiling. I don't know what he was doing.
Actually, I had multiple playthroughs as a kid where I got stuck, where you're taught how to wall jump, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't have space jump, so I just assumed my game was broken and started a new file.
Yeah. Metroid, I think, must be one of the most unfinished games people had as a kid. There's so much stuff like that. Oh, the original especially. Yeah.
Yeah, the original for sure. It's like, oh, I fell. Well, that's the end. No ice cream for me.
All right. I mean, there's some more Speed Booster stuff here that's written down.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this.
All right, sorry. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to.
Get with it, Lucky.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I guess next would be like exploitation of Samus's animations, unless you're a little bit better on that than I am.
Yeah, so basically in this game there's probably, I want to say, like almost 60 different sprites for Samus, and they are all pretty much based on your input. So there's a sprite for her, and you can see it obviously when she's running, when she's aiming up, aiming down. And you can actually use those to your advantage to create, time-saving maneuvers. Some of the biggest ones are ledge grabs, and it's, not a traditional way you would think of a ledge grab, but when you're spin jumping, your sprite is your hitbox is matched to your sprite. So as Samus is spin jumping, her sprite is actually smaller than when she's standing. So there's ways that pretty much every time you're spin jumping, you can break out of your spin once you're up towards a ledge to land earlier. And it doesn't sound like a huge deal, but when you factor that in across the entire run, doing as many ledge grabs as you can, that is just it's gonna save you a lot of time over the course of a run.
Yeah, it's really monumental just how much it adds up. Like, I'd say, I don't know, I've kind of been joking around that the difference between a 32 and a 38 is ledge grabbing, but I think from 34 to just getting a 32, the biggest thing that improved on was ledge grabbing. And it just makes a huge difference. But,
yeah, so that's the biggest one, and there's a lot of other minor things that are minor tricks that come about from the many sprite animations. There's quick dropping, which is as you're falling through a chroma block. If you have Samus in her turnaround animation, she will actually retain her falling speed as she goes through the quick drop, as she goes through the chroma block. So that is just another small thing that you can use here and there to save time.
All right. You got down backs?
Yeah, down backs,
baby, down
gap
backs.
skips, Kago balls, and all sorts of things that
There's
sound like dance moves.
Just so much in this game that we could talk about. I'm sure if there was a lot of time, we could talk about it for hours and hours. But
I'm lucky I have a day off tomorrow, because if I didn't, I'd be like, I gotta go now, guys. You keep talking for another hour.
Well, tell us what a Kago ball is.
Yeah,
just
I
so
wanna
we can have
know
a
what that
full
is.
bouquet of
Yeah,
balls.
I can't
and a
handle the cliffhanger anymore.
pallet of balls.
see, I don't think I have it highlighted anywhere, but that should be roughly around like the 34-30 mark using my W split on the 32.
Yeah, it's basically you can use the animation where Samus is going into the morph ball to move through enemies or move through a platform, like a solid surface. Not every platform, obviously. It's only like things that are classified as enemies. But yeah, so that's basically just another small time-saving thing. You'll find a lot of these are not, huge time-saving things, but things that are just going to add up over the course of a run.
Oh, is that the thing that you use with those spike elevator things?
Yeah, that's the Kago ball.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to happen here in like maybe 15 seconds.
Sweet.
But
Yeah, that's a cool looking trick.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, that's what's happening. Boom.
Yeah, so normally you have to wait for those elevators to like go down and then go back up.
Makes so much sense now.
Yeah, the names are questionable, but
I love our names. The names are the best.
I like the
Kago
names for all the
balls.
locations too. I like the fact that you guys named all the rooms in the game. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the first things we actually did. Is like, how do we even refer to these rooms? To like,
Right. You're like, oh, it's
other
the orange
strategies.
room with that thing in it.
It's the orangey, like, sort of sphinxy Egyptian room with the, like the orange water at the bottom. Sort of looks like orange soda.
You gotta name them based on the enemies in there, for sure.
it's yeah. Oh, go ahead.
We actually went with like the more what's the word I had on the tip of my tongue, but the more surreal, odd names. Like we have a room called the Cathedral that's pretty famous. We have a Coliseum. Just kind of stuff like that. It doesn't really fit the room, but it's memorable enough that we know what it is when we see it.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, everything in it, Super Metroid is so ambiguous as it is. You know, the enemies are ambiguous, the rooms are ambiguous, so we just kind of picked names that were somewhat memorable.
Good. So it's something easy to pick up on.
Yes,
For
exactly.
someone new to the game,
Just
when
watch
you
it
tell
once
them
and
to
you'll
do
have
these
it memorized.
I've seen here. There's one here called the Warehouse. Is
Warehouse.
Kung Fu Pirates actually a name here?
Yeah, there is a room by Kung Fu Pirates. It's true.
It's nice. Yeah, I've got this little list here. It's not all of them, but apparently there's a Cassius room.
Yes, our good buddy Cassius has a room named after him that he used to be good at, but isn't anymore. I don't think anyone's good at that room anymore.
Yeah, he
It's
picked like
the
one of
downfall of most of our runs.
the most difficult rooms in the game. He decided he wanted to be named after him.
But,
Right. The thing is we're halfway through this list of general techniques, and we got a whole load of tricks to go. So
yeah,
let's
I
keep
guess
rolling.
we should just keep
going.
training going.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already talked about damage boosting, but I guess we could talk about hitboxing, where you run into an enemy as you're shooting, and you can go through its invulnerability animation, I guess, as opposed to the traditional where you take a hit and you just run through the next enemy.
Oh, okay. I love games that have that. You hit them and then run through.
Yeah, basically they have invulnerability timers as well as you, and you can use their invulnerability to run through them.
Yeah. The ultimate insult. Not only am I not going to kill you, I'm going to shoot you first.
All right. So there's jumping techniques.
Oh,
Sort of
baby.
you missed those out too. There's four. Well, I mean, when a game has this many jumping techniques, there's a lot to cover. So.
Well, thankfully
Yeah.
it's pretty simple. Like, there are basically, in my opinion, 3 different factions of jumps. There's straight jumps, spin jumps, and wall jumps. They all have different physics to them. Straight jumps, you're pretty much just jumping, and you can't really do much with it. You can't wall jump. You can shoot, and it's kind of like your default state when you break out of a spin. But spin jumping is what really makes this game shine, because it allows for you to wall jump, and it does, I believe, reduce your hitbox to match the animation, and that allows for stuff like ledge grabbing. It's just amazing, beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that took me a little getting used to playing this is, I'm jumping, but now I got to press to the side, and now I'm spinning, and now I can do all these other things. But it's just another factor to control in the jumps.
Yeah, and there's different ways to activate it. If you actually, if you're facing one direction and you press the opposite direction and jump at the same time, you will spin jump immediately. Whereas there are other ways, if you're going forward, you may not spin jump depending on the timing of the direction and jump. So it's a pretty tricky kind of technique.
See, that's neat. That's what I like about this game. Even the basic movement has all these little subtleties built into it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, they really did. Deer Force really did a number on this game. It's I consider it a masterpiece.
Easily.
Agreed.
But I guess we can speed it up and go to the meat, which is the tricks. I mean, there's basic stuff like Charge Beam has a few cool things we'll talk about later with the the power bomb combos, which we use on pretty much every boss these days. But it also allows for you to do a pseudo screw attack, which allows you to basically kill enemies as you're jumping into them if you have a charge held while you're spin jumping. It's pretty useful in some places. I don't think I do much of it anymore because I've developed strats around things that I'm bad at. But it's kind of cool. I mean, I guess that's it with the general techniques, unless you can think of anything that's really super important in MS.
I think we pretty much covered all the good stuff, and we can kind of touch on those again as we're talking about the tricks if we need to.
If not,
Yeah,
you can leave all the shitty ones to when we do the 100% show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
Yeah,
leave
we
them
might-
with the crap, and you can just reap all the glory with
That's
the cool
right.
tricks.
you can't talk
Yeah.
about mock balls or wall jumping on the 100% run.
Yeah,
They get rabbits.
That's what I'm thinking.
they get downbacks. They can have downbacks.
But I want downbacks.
Oh.
But anyways, I guess as far as tricks go, should we just move on to bosses? Because I think we actually covered a lot of the necessary for
talked
speedrun
about
ones. We
Early
talked
super
about
missiles.
reverse ship entry.
Yeah, you mentioned a few of the early entries when you were talking about tricks, but I mean, you might just want to double check any of those to see if you skipped any of them by accident.
Did we show the Ice Palace mock ball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, no, we didn't.
No,
we
we
showed
didn't
going
cover
into
that.
it.
We did
Oh,
the
we showed
bounce.
the
No,
bounce
we
ball.
found it, didn't we? I
We
thought.
showed the bounce ball.
Oh, we found
Well,
the
it's a
bounce
different.
ball.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's a
right,
different ball trick. And
Coming
bounce
out of
ball.
it.
Sorry, man, I'm not up to scratch on my balls.
It's alright.
Not scratching your
Oh,
balls.
never mind.
Right.
But,
Sorry, we
Oh,
all got
that's a
balls
good-
on. We got balls on the brain, so
Mhm.
we're.
that's a pretty good trick right there, the Ice Palace mock ball. Basically what it allows
A
for you
video.
to do,
Oh,
should have a video. Anyways, what it allows for you to do is you can take a shortcut after Ice Beam where you just go back the way you came, but they actually have little shutter gates kind of like the way they have early supers. And you can make it over there, but it's actually kind of a tricky thing because the way the previous room is set up, you don't really have the room to do a normal mock ball, so you do something called a short hop. You'll see it right here.
Yeah, and it's in order to get enough running speed to do that, you actually have to use those moving platforms to your advantage, so you can extend the platforms that already exist in the room in order to get enough speed to get under that gate.
There have been many times where we get stuck by the gate just because we don't have enough speed. Fortunately, we've kind of played the game enough where it's a rarity.
Yeah,
You
it's
can always-
definitely a pretty difficult trick when you're first starting out.
Yeah, I can't do that one. Oh well.
I would have tried bomb jumping. My solution to everything.
Unfortunately, bomb jumping doesn't really serve much purpose in speed, which is sad because I like bomb jumping
there's
too.
not much bomb jumping in this Metroid game,
Nope.
especially compared to Primes.
Well, sure there is. That whole statue breaking cutscene is all bomb jumping.
Right. Anytime you gotta kill time. it's fun.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we saw the pillar trick, but that's one of the coolest looking tricks in the game.
Let's show the pillars then.
Yeah.
Right, do
A
we
lot
have a
of
video?
people are mentioning arm pumping in the chat.
Oh, arm pumping,
I'm not gonna talk
it's
about
really, really minor, but I'll just go over it real quick. Basically, every time you angle up or angle down, Samus's sprite gets pushed a pixel forward. Tasses can use this quite a bit, but human players can't really gain a whole lot of time out of it, but at the same time, there's no reason not to do it.
Yeah.
And
Except
that's while
if you
you're moving forward.
did
I mean,
that
it's kind of
both
obvious, but
ways. You have to actually have both of your angle up and down mapped to buttons, so, which not everyone
Yeah.
does apparently.
You can do it with just one angle, and it still works pretty much the same, just not as fast. But it
But
counts
you
to, I
could do it like
think the number is
like
5
shield
seconds
dash.
over the course of a run.
You could map it to like B and Y, and just do shield dashing mashing.
Yeah.
and really save those frames, but you wouldn't be able to run forward at all because both your thumbs are occupied.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd even hold the controller.
I don't even understand how people hold the controller for this game anyway. You got to use all the buttons. It's like, that's nuts.
Oh yeah, we claw for the most part because we use basically
really?
style controls. I have my index finger sitting on Y and X, and my thumb hovering over like B and A.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's also how I do it. I know that people who use different control schemes, the default controls actually have ways where they don't claw. I have no idea how they do it, but apparently that's what they do.
I'm not
And
sure I
even-
could handle playing a game for an hour in claw.
That's
It's actually
Super
really
Mario
comfortable.
World with claw grip. I got really used to it. It's actually not bad at all.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
But,
I'm playing
uh,
Zelda 2 in claw grip now too. I just decided
So-
that's what
For those
Nice.
of you, I don't know, in the chat, if you don't know, claw grips basically when you have your like thumb on, say, the bottom button, you have your like index finger over as well, so you can press buttons with the index finger and still use your thumb at the same time, right? That's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. In this game, you have to be pretty much holding the run button the whole time. So in order to do things like jump and shoot while you're still holding the run button, you kind of almost have to do it with the Mega Man X control scheme.
You could probably
People
use,
like Jesse will tell you otherwise though.
You could probably use what I'd call the Contra 3 grip, where you use
Oh,
your
maybe.
index finger and middle finger, and no thumb.
Yeah.
Because you can hit all the face buttons pretty comfortably with that grip. But that takes a really long time to get used to.
In a really slightly off-topic thing here, who was the person who was holding their controller wrong at Awesome Games Done Quick? Who people
Oh,
kept
that was
yelling
Mr.
at?
K.
That was Mr. K, right?
Yeah.
I was just trying to recall that people would just yell at it, like, don't you think he's holding his controller wrong?
What
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think by people you mean just me.
Yeah, well, you're a person, so it kind of counts. Either way, let's get back on topic.
Yeah,
I just
we
wanted to clear that one up because otherwise it was going to bug me. And by the end of the show, I would have forgotten what I wanted to ask. So
Yeah, and it would have become the title later on.
yeah. Flicky had a question, but he can't remember what it was.
Well, Flicky, thank you, though. That was a good segue into the happy.
Oh baby, the happy.
Oh.
This is one of our favorite tricks, I feel.
Well, that's the next thing on the list here. We got a video for the happy.
Should anyways.
It'll come up.
It's I guess to explain the happy, we also need to explain the full happy, which is kind of a dumb name, but I like it a lot, so it's sticking. But what you're gonna see here is I'm going to run through the room, jump up, open the door, and shine spark while I still have it, and I actually travel the length of half of the room, which is why it's called the happy.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you were saying happy.
That's what everyone says, and it's like, I guess you can be happy that you pulled off the trick, but
Well, that's what I figured, and then you were like, I travelled half the room, that's why it's called the happy, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I just right, halfy, I got
there's a very clear division between people who can understand me and people who can't, and it seems more
yeah,
people fall into
so those of you
can'ts.
used to British English, that's a halfy.
We don't say our
That's a
L.
half.
Halfy.
No, don't try it. Don't
Yeah.
try, Feasel.
Halfy.
No, don't try it.
But the
Bayonet
strategy
R.
Right.
is
So,
pure
like, you
real
come up
time.
short and you like duff it on the first one. Is that called like a kind of happy or a pretty sad?
No, that's called you just screwed up and now you lost all the time.
That's called the sucky.
Okay.
But the happy is actually a variation of this trick that Duckfist just showed, where you actually do something called a gravity jump by taking off your gravity suit. If you catch it the right way, you actually get a super jump coming out. You have just enough time where you can actually jump in this room and do it from there.
Who's the person with the genius sense of humor who named this the full halfy then? Because that is incredible.
That's great.
That's an absolutely brilliant name.
Yeah.
That would be Garrison.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. I greatly appreciate that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this trick is easily the coolest looking trick in the game. But it's pretty much game time only because you have to pause the game twice, and as a result, you lose a lot of real time. So you're not going to see it in races, most likely.
It's too bad.
Okay, so that's it. Balls and full halfies. That's our name for the show.
Yes.
I think fake English accents should be in the title as well.
Alright, we're gonna write these down now.
You'll forget. You'll name the wrong title. Wrong episode.
Alright, continue. We're digressing.
Okay. We covered our halfies and our balls, so I guess we can cover one of our favorite tricks, the Plower House.
Flower House.
Which has an amazing name. I can't take credit for it. I think that was DBX who came up with that one.
Yeah, that was DBA.
Plower House. Every time I try and type the word power, it just defaults to plower, and I always have to correct myself. It's amazing.
Are you gonna describe it, or are we just gonna let our
No,
imagination?
we're just gonna. You can't. You have to.
Because I've got
see
a few guesses right now, but I'm pretty sure none of them are relevant.
I'm thinking a group of bulls towing old plows in a house, and they race it around the inside of the house. That's all I got.
But basically, what it is you get the blue suit over here, and you angle up as you're running, so you keep your run speed. And if those bats happen to come down on you, you can kill them with the blue suit, and you can actually travel through the whole length of the room and go through the door. That one right there was kind of sloppy, but I kind of didn't. I don't organize my videos very well, so it was hard for me to come up with another one.
And you can do this on both ways because you go through this room twice, in and out to Ridley. So you can actually do it on the way in and the way out, and it's quite a time saver.
It's amazing looking too.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I biffed the one going in my 32, so I have that mark of shame.
It seems to be a lot harder on the way in because of the juxtaposition of the platforms in the next room.
Right.
Really cool trick. This entire game is just really cool to watch, even if you aren't someone who enjoys playing it, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I see. I've never been huge on these games because I'm absolutely terrible at exploring. I cannot explore in games or memorize where rooms are. But I love watching this game, probably for that reason that someone else is doing it for me.
Yeah, I hate playing this game, but it's really fun to watch.
Yeah. But now we can get on to the boss strats, which.
Oh baby, the boss strats. This is the really important part.
Yeah.
This is at any percent run is made or broken, I guess, by your boss fights.
I guess the essential one that most people are impressed with when they first see a run is the great quick kill. There are a lot of different ways to do it, but I think there's one that pretty much everyone has agreed is unequivocally faster by a certain number of frames. I think it's roughly a second and a half.
And if you're a power bomber, this is one you gotta learn.
Yeah, it's important because you can lose 30 seconds if you don't do it right.
Yeah, and that's half of the power bombs race.
But this is the faster method. What you do is you shoot 2 missiles. One catches Kraid's mouth and opens his mouth, and the other one actually catches it mid-animation, and it kind of tricks his AI into going to the full open, because normally when you shoot him in the mouth, he kind of opens it a little bit, closes it, blinks his eye, and then opens it all the way. So it actually manipulates pretty well. I believe this was found in a task by Paco and Creel back roughly 2008, I believe.
So how consistent is that for you? Well, I'm going to say for you guys to do because we're
DBX is
talking about
100% of the time. Me, I'm roughly 50 with this method. With my own, which is only slightly slower, it's 100%. So I don't really go for this one very much, but it is more impressive, so I felt this one was more worth showing.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, it's not unlikely. You can learn it. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the first tricks you should learn. Maybe not this method because it is really inconsistent for me. I don't know. I know it's really inconsistent for a lot of other players as well.
Yeah, I personally don't use this one because I just do not have consistency with it like I do the other method, which is it's about 2 seconds slower.
That just looks hilarious, boss just dead,
Yeah, he just
Kraid is just a torso. That's it.
gets his high and by, and then he sinks back into
Yep.
He's just waving at you. Hello, hello.
Hello, goodbye.
It's really cool too because when you do this, the games we weren't expecting you to do this, so the screen doesn't scroll over.
Yeah.
And you have to run off screen to the RSU door.
Alright, then we got Fantoons next on this list, which I saw him earlier. The chat were quite excited about the clip we showed earlier, or it was during your run, so...
Yeah.
2
That
rounds
was a
Fantoon, yeah.
pretty good fight.
So
You can
Fantoon, people
get-
complain about it a lot. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, Fantoon is the worst boss in the game. He is highly RNG based. I guess we're gonna see that a quick kill, but
We're gonna see Kraid again.
Because it's great.
Hello Kraid! Kraid, hi
Hello,
Kraid!
but this is the method I use for Kraid, just because it's 100% for me, unlike the other method.
Oh, I like Kraid.
But anyways, the 2-round Fantoon, normally you shouldn't be able to kill him very fast. I think the official strategy guide says that he'll die in something like, 5 super missiles, which is a bad idea.
Yeah, very bad idea.
But,
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, alright, well, what he's doing here is using what do we call a special charge beam attack.
An X Factor.
Yeah, we call it the X Factor because it's just easier.
The X's, and they get factored.
X is a cool letter too. One of the cooler ones out there.
Definitely. But yeah, so what you're doing there is you're timing it just right, so all 4 of those particles hit him at the same time, and they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they roughly do 2 super missiles worth of damage, and that cuts them out really fast. And as a result, you're able to kill them in 2 rounds. In this video, I got the quickest possible pattern. In like an actual any percent run where you're going for a good time, Fantoon can be a colossal fan just because he can go into like 1 of 6 patterns right off the bat, and 2 of them are really slow. And if you happen to get a 2-round, but the slowest patterns, you still lose like 20 seconds.
Wow. So how hard is it to actually land that?
That second shot looks tough. Hold on.
That's fortunately, since I have Spazer equipped there, the beam is large enough that I can kind of just shoot and it works. But there are different methods for it. Ultimately, you got to find your own, but you have to recognize what pattern he's going into. Like I said, he can go into 1 of 6 patterns right away, so you have to keep keying and know where he can appear. And you have to be able to execute as well, because if you're just slightly off in either your timing or your positioning, you're not going to have all of them hit. And if that happens, basically the stray particles are going to like fly around the room, and you aren't able to shoot during that time. So you're pretty much in danger of dying if you miss, because there's not a whole lot you can do until it disappears.
You can't pause cancel it?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
That's the one thing about this game that I personally like, is that there's nothing that is super overpowered. Everything has a good balance to it, so if you do miss that, then not only do you lose a lot of time, but you could potentially die because you're locked. You're shot locked, I should say. You can't shoot.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's just a colossal pain. And even if you have like all the patterns memorized like I've gotten to, there's still the chance that it gives you a bad pattern, and there's still human error. But
Alright, so then we got Botwoon now? Yeah, Botwoon's next up, so...
You'll have to forgive us, I don't think we found a video for the faster method, which is also an X Factor trick. We might have, I don't know.
I'll forgive you just this once.
You had a 1 round on your run that we were showing, right?
Yeah, there are 2 different ways to 1 round, and 1 requires like full beam shot and 9 super missiles. This is really good still, even for game time, especially if you aren't using a whole lot of supers on Drake on the next boss. But if he goes into basically, there are 3 patterns you can do this on, and 1 that's just the worst thing in the game. But,
yeah, he's another boss that has potential randomness for every round, but it's nowhere near as bad it's nowhere near as bad as Fantoon for sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what I'm doing there is I'm just firing a charge shot and then loading on him with super missiles, and you actually take damage and get inside his sprite to make sure you hit enough super missiles. So if you're low on health, this could be a very dangerous fight just because the way you go for speed involves taking damage.
I didn't even know that you fought him in any percent.
Yeah, he's in the way. He is kind of a pointless boss because he's just blocking the way. Unlike everything else that guards as an item or something.
I don't think any boss in a game that's a snake or variant of a snake that comes out of holes has ever been interesting or fun. They
Like
usually
this boss
just
is in The Little
annoying.
Mermaid.
It's like a teleporting boss.
This guy can unfortunately kill a lot of runs too, because the faster method involves another X factor, and it's very specific. You need to fire your shot and charge it and jump at like the right time exactly, or else your shots aren't going to hit exactly. And once again, if you have stray shots, it's going to lag out the game severely. Like, it's one of the laggiest things in the game, and you're also unable to fire, so you lose time, and you're also in danger of taking more hits. It's just a really bad situation to be in, so I went the safer option in this video just because I had enough supers and I was doing game time strats.
Alright, then we got Dragon's next. I'm just reading down this list.
Yeah,
that's
Dragon
right.
Yeah.
is amazing. Easily the most fun part of any percent for me. Also the hardest, I feel. But, I don't know, MS, do you want to talk about Dragon a little bit?
Yeah, sure. They're so basically we kind of adopted a strategy that was come up with by the Tassers back in the day.
I believe Saturn.
Saturn, I believe, that came up with using the X Factor on Dragon as well. And you kind of charge it for the first round in conjunction with charging a speed booster, which is... Dragon's pretty unique because she takes damage from a Shine Spark. So you can kill her very quickly, as I did there with a couple Shine Sparks, as well as the X Factor, and that's kind of what you saw there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like, basically, with a good Shine Spark, you can deal, I believe the number is 39% of her health with a single spark. And having the X Factor there, if you hit with just one of them, you're breaking even with doing anything else that you could possibly do. But if more hit, that's just more extra firepower. So it's really an amazing strategy just because you don't have to worry about ammo as much. You can go in with fewer amounts of super missiles and still be fine.
Yeah, so you can potentially skip refilling your supers before going into this fight by using the X Factor, as a replacement, as well as the missiles that you already have. In that fight, I used 5 supers on her, but you could potentially do it faster than that without using any supers. That particular method there is what I found to be the most consistent and the safest for racing, because if you don't get that first round right, if you don't charge your Shine Spark, or if you miss with the X Factor, once again, that's a very costly thing. You do almost half the damage in that first round right there.
Yeah. Once again, I guess I'll just emphasize that this is a very deadly game, and if you mess up one of these top tier strategies, you're probably dead. So, in cases where I miss the Shine Spark, I'm like, well, I'm more than likely dead, guys. I'll see you on the other side.
It's either you're dead or you just cost an extra minute and a half.
I mean, is there any reasonable... Yeah, a minute and a half. But, I mean, is there any reasonable place to save? Like, assuming you're a noob and you just, you don't want to try to do it in one segment?
Yeah, if you're new to the game, there are definitely places to save. The reason we don't really advertise saving as much is because it's more practice, it's better for racing, just because this is such a short game. And, you need to realize that, your run could end at any moment. Even if you save, it's still a really costly thing, so it's better to pack your bags and try again than to try and salvage something and have a really disappointing run.
That's true, because, I mean, I guess, you might go back 5 minutes, to the last save point, at which, in which case you lost the race anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Okay, so this one has got a cool name, but it also says in brackets next to it "shitty strat." But I want to talk about it anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, but it's really bad.
That's fine. I don't.
It's kind of cool looking in that I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, neither does the game.
Yeah, basically.
So, in the highlight, I pretty much just set it up. I don't actually show what it is because I'm very bad at this because I don't actually like the strategy very much, but it's pure game time. What you do is you actually glitch your game into giving you all 5 beams at once, and it actually creates like a vertical line of damage, and it's doing powerbomb damage the entire time. And the game doesn't really like you doing that, so it basically glitches out, lags like crazy. It's pure game time just because the amount of lag it creates is insane. It's something like 1.5 minutes of just lag frames.
And the whole point of doing it is there's a fight, there's the phase of the fight, phase 3, after the cutscene where the Metroid like revives you and Mother Brain kills the Metroid. Then you have to finish her off with the Hyper Beam. But with this strategy, you're pretty much damaging Mother Brain during that entire cutscene. So by the time the cutscene's over, her health is almost at 0, and you can save a lot of time on that last bit. But that's all game time, remember.
In terms of real time, it's just not something you're ever going to see in a race unless someone's like having a really bad run and they just feel like messing around.
So there are several other Mother Brain strategies. Do you want to talk a little bit about the other things you can do, stand-up glitch, etc.?
That's more 100% and any percent GT code, which is another category that we didn't really talk about.
All right.
Unfortunately, you don't have enough.
Right. Well, so we'll save that for Desi.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's not going to have anything to talk about.
That's true. We don't want to use them all.
And then, cool stuff.
There's one last thing here on this tricks list, which is the Garrison Gutter Ball.
Yeah, that's important.
I can't take credit for the name, but I think, as far as I know, I found this. I haven't found it on TAS videos or anything, and everyone that I've shown this to has been like, what? But, basically, we never found a highlight for it. Okay, in the wreck ship, there's a statue that grabs you as a ball, and it walks down a spike corridor over to the gravity suit. But if you get on there and lay up like a bomb as you're getting grabbed, the bomb damage actually stores on Samus, and once it releases you, like 20 seconds later, you get the lift off. So it's kind of like, if you're familiar with Ocarina of Time, it's like a ground jump. So you store the bomb bounce, and you can actually use that to jump up into the air when you're getting released, shoot the door open, and go in without falling. It saves some minuscule amount of frames, but it's like the only thing I found in the game.
A minuscule amount of frames.
So you got to be proud of something there.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe a quarter of a second or something.
Well done anyway. Good job, you.
And a good name.
Yeah, and we also call that one the Gutterson.
The Gutterson.
That's the short name.
Alright, so what we're going to do now, when Fiesel stops drumming on his NES pad, I'm assuming it's a NES pad. And that is Fiesel.
Oh, there it is right there.
Yeah, there it is, right.
Yeah, so
I know I
laid
did
a bomb right before he got grabbed.
Oh man, the tension is mounting.
Oh, that might be from the Desert X video.
Will he jump?
Yeah.
Will he nail it?
Yeah, well, I'm going to make a
PJ
PJ gutter ball into a crystal flash right as he grabs me.
No, you'll bomb jump over him.
It's kind of funny, because if you set this up wrong, you can actually get bomb boosted the opposite way and end up behind the statue, which is kind of not really good.
Oh, there you go. There's the jump.
Oh, that's pretty neat. So is that the bomb that opened up the door?
No, you have to
he
shoot.
shot immediately.
Did he?
Yeah, you can't see because he's up against the wall, but he shot as soon as he unmoored.
Alright, cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to have PJ is going to do chat questions this week. And we're going to roll through learning the game while we pick out some questions. So if you guys want to go through all this stuff about how to learn the game, because we've spoken about this game for quite a while, so if there's not at least a few people interested in it, I don't know what the hell's happened, so...
Number one thing is, I would say come to SRL. Basically, hash speedruns live on the SDA IRC server. Ask around. We'll probably introduce you to our own IRC channel, which is hash Super Metroid. We do a lot of strategy talk over there, and we like to help the newer players out. So, getting into contact with us is probably a good first step, because if there's something we can't help you with, we know at least who to get you to.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Like Metroid 2002, there's a website devoted to tricks and things like that too.
There are a
So
lot
it's
of
a good place to start.
videos over there that are definitely worth going to. A lot of the information is kind of out of date, and the community is kind of run dry. It's kind of
Unfortunately.
I don't know what to really say. It's kind of a dead community, to be perfectly honest. There's maybe a new post once a week.
But there are a lot of good, aside from the forums, there are a lot of good videos and explanation of tricks on that site. It's a really good starting point for speedruns.
Mm-hmm. That's where I learned pretty much most of it.
Metroid was trying so hard to catch him.
That's cool. I like watching that. That's cool.
That one I think should be saved for 100%.
That was in Desi's theory task. Is that what we're watching?
Yes.
Yes, it could be done in any percent as well, but
it's not going to happen. I don't feel.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you wrote out a whole load of stuff about learning the game.
Yeah, we did. We also have like a bunch of tutorials that we've made throughout the months. I guess it's probably best just to put them in the links database or something, or we can also point you to them in hash Super Metroid or whatever.
Sure.
But we've made tutorials for the power bombs, basic physics and tricks, all the bosses that we'd want to. It's a pretty large community thing.
I highly recommend the link I pasted, Cassius's Drunk Power Bombs tutorial.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
It's
very, very good.
So entertaining. I really enjoyed that.
That's definitely a starting point.
It's infotainment at its finest.
It's informative and edutaining. It's great.
Yes, exactly. One other thing I would just say as a general thing for learning this game, that this is, I don't know, for me, it's a very rewarding game to speedrun at a molecular level. So let's say you're just starting out and maybe you haven't learned all the tricks yet, but you do get this, the mock ball the first try, or you do get the shine spark the first try. That it has a lot of rewarding feeling to it. At least for me, it did when I first started learning. And then at the end of the game, you also get, if you get a PB, that's also a rewarding feeling. So
yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to get discouraged either, because we've all had our runs killed. Like, you are going to die, and it's going to hurt. You're not going to like it very much, but, you got to keep marching on. And like MS was saying, it's a very rewarding game. Like, when you get the run or whatever, your new personal best, it's such a good feeling. And this game is so complex and difficult to run, but it's even more so, I guess.
Alright, so we're gonna probably have all these links that we've got in this doc.
Put them up on the lens.
Yeah, Fiesel's gonna throw it into the link database thing, which you can find below our show notes. It's right after the links to all the cool games and that. Or to the cool website, so just below the Speedruns Live SDA task videos link.
Right. It'll be updated.
And are you gonna have it updated, Fiesel?
Probably by tomorrow I will.
Alright, because you're a few episodes behind.
I'm a little behind. Actually, I have one episode, but it's still in the comments. Oh well.
Alright, that's okay, it's no problem. But check it out, we all have all that there. Just while a few more questions are getting in, I just want to remind people, if you want to check out any of our runners, we do have them, they're hanging out in the chat as well, so you can follow them through that. We have them linked in the table if you want to go follow them, although MSDS isn't actually on there. Hang on, we'll fix that later. But yeah, go follow these guys and go watch some Super Metroid races, because they're freaking awesome. Right, do you have questions, PJ? Come on. Have you found any?
Yep,
Got a couple
we've got a
there.
few.
All right,
All right,
cool. Let's do
Warple
it.
asks, which is laggier, Murder Beam or Mega Man 3?
That's a really tough question. I would want to go with Mega Man 3 on this, but I know Murder Beam is also a sight to behold.
Yeah, Murder Beam's pretty powerful, but I mean, all
That's
it
only
takes is like
over
2
a minute.
moving sprites in Mega Man 3, and it can compete.
Yeah, like the entire game is Murder Beams in Mega Man 3.
See you next mission.
Okay, so next question. From Calorie Buns, did any of you fall for the noob bridge?
I don't think I ever did. I realized there was a run button in Super Metroid.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know
the-
what that is, but I'll say yes.
The new bridge came about whenever GameFAQs came online, and all these questions on Super Metroid popped up where people were saying, "How do you get across this bridge in Brinstar?" And basically, what it is it's one of those crumble block bridges that you have to run across. So the idea is that all these players got up to that bridge without realizing there was a run button, which is pretty funny. But it's also, it's like one of the only places where you actually have to use the run button.
But like, how do you ever play any other Nintendo game and not realize that there should be a run button?
It's baffling.
It's like, have they never played Mario? Any Mario game?
I guess the original Metroid didn't have one, so maybe they came from that.
True, the
camp.
original Metroid didn't have very much of anything,
No, it
except a
didn't.
lot of
very
empty
little
space.
There was Trihex didn't realize for a very long time in Yoshi's Island that when you became Baby Mario, you could run as him too. He didn't realize for quite a while, like a good year or two, that you could run as Baby Mario, and a lot of people don't. So, I don't know. I guess it's not that obvious.
Nope.
All right. It says a question here from Rom. This is actually pretty good. So, who?
Why do you get to read out the relevant questions?
Well, sorry,
You're
you
making me
weren't
look
saying.
like the
You
enemy
weren't saying
here.
anything.
No, it's fine. You take it.
Romscout wants to know what the most evil Super Metroid puzzle is in SRL so far. So just
Oracle's last puzzle.
just to briefly explain, the puzzle races are something where someone will create an image which has a bunch of restrictions or goals or something that are really bizarre and unusual. And basically you have to try and do it without you really knowing what it is. So
Basically Super Metroid is a game that's really wide open, and as a result, it started with Desirect. He wanted to get people to look at the game in a different way, so he created the original puzzle race, which I believe we were talking about earlier, about crossing the moat that we normally shine spark over. And that was a whole bunch of like obscure tricks and stuff that we normally aren't aware of, because we come from like an 90% background or 100% background or whatever. But like, there have been puzzle races where you go through Meridia suitless, or a lot of Hell's runs, or there's a glitch in the game called the back in time glitch, or the space time glitch, whatever you want to call it, where kind of like the murder beam, you use a glitch beam in certain rooms, and shooting it actually sets the state of the planet to default, so all the items are back, all the bosses are back, and people can design puzzles around that. But Vorpal's puzzle is the only puzzle race I've ever tested and quit. So sorry, I can test this. It was basically set up like Pokemon, where let's say your Pokemon only has 4 moves, and for every new thing you get, you have to get rid of another move. It's the same thing with the items. And there are so many different ways to screw yourself over, and I ended up screwing myself over, and I was like, I'm sorry, man, I can't do this.
Yeah, quite a very well-designed puzzle, but it's a little bit out of the scope, I think, of me and Garrison's realm of playing.
Yeah.
alright, go on, Peter, do you want to ask these questions then? Go on.
I gotta scroll up now. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Garrison, we got a question here from Cypher for you. Why run Harvest Moon all days, but not Super Metroid X-Ray Climb?
Because an 8% all days requires strategy and planning.
You mean
And extra
you
climbing
mean a
requires-
strategy?
Yes. Extra climbing
Yeah.
involves turning left and right over and over again over the course of like 10 minutes both times. So I would rather enjoy going to sleep than getting stuck in a wall.
All right,
Quite
so
enjoy getting stuck in walls. So
you love it though, PJ. That's just your thing.
yeah,
Getting stuck in walls, flying over walls, through walls, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Diesel, you can ask this one because you stole it.
I sniped PJ.
You sniped
slightly.
PJ's question.
reverse snipe.
All right. Well, Mike Wiyama asks, what do you guys think of Metroid Prime, since that's the big 3D Metroid for speedrunning? Fair question.
Mhm.
I believe I've seen some people playing it among the
Yeah.
Super Metroid crew.
I casually run it, but unfortunately my disc is broken, so I can't casually run it anymore. I can just casually observe. It's a really good game. I hold it with just as much love and admiration as I hold Super Metroid. It's a really interesting game, both in terms of like casual play and speedrunning. It's probably the only 3D game I'd ever be interested in speedrunning at a higher level.
It's okay to
Besides
say
the-
that you're afraid of Miles. It's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if you guys just want to admit that Miles scares you a little bit, then go for it.
I'd rather just say I'm bad.
All
That
right,
works too.
that's valid. Yeah.
All right. We'll do
Oh,
a
and I'll
Metroid
just-
Prime episode eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll just
we'll
throw
get
it
it
in that
out.
I've never played that game.
And I've been trying for months, but
I
it's
got
been
about
one
as
shot.
far. I got about as far as Metroid Prime as I got in Metroid 1 and Super Metroid, which is
Water Temple.
about 40 minutes in, and then I just completely forgot where the hell I was meant to go.
Yeah.
And then in Metroid Prime, I found out about the space boots, the early space boots. I'm not sure that's the name of the double jump boots. And so I tried to
Mhm.
do that for about an hour and a half and couldn't do it, so
That sounds about right.
gave up, quit the game. All right. Do we have more questions? Someone asked one just about if either of you guys reckon you can actually take the record from Hotarubi. Is it just a matter of time, I guess?
Harubi at his best is still better than any of us are at our best, in my opinion. But in terms of like real time, there's been a lot of strategies that have come about since then. So
yeah.
we can definitely beat his real time world record just because a lot of his strategies were outdated. And even though his run was aimed towards fastest real time, I don't think he had as good of an understanding of real time as we do now.
That was from Golden, by the way, just to give credit there.
All right. Well, I've got a question that's sort of related to this. How much different in terms of real time would be an any percent run with in-game time strats versus one with real time strats? How much actual clock time difference is there?
Okay. Like I said, I used that hack for a little while to see like my in-game time in seconds, and I did several runs with both game time and real time strategies. And my fastest real time ended up being like a 33 something, like 33:40 something. And that's a pretty huge disparity between like a 32 using game time strategies and it was something like 2 minutes difference or something like that. I don't know.
That's in-game time you're talking about. Different. That's how much in-game time difference is.
Yeah, in-game time. It's really two diverging categories because, like I said, as things have progressed, real time and game time have separated. Like in terms of real time, as I mentioned earlier, people have been skipping Phaser Beam, which does not save any game time at all, but it does save real time if you do it well.
What else do you do differently in a real-time strats versus in-game strats? I mean, I imagine that some of the strats you use within the rooms are different, but what about like in a larger sense, route-wise?
A lot of the room strats, like dealing with enemies, it's faster to just like take enemies out with missiles or charge shots instead of just having your full beams on. So we have to kind of plan around that, or just damage boost the rooms and just forego killing enemies and getting drops or whatever entirely.
Yeah, it's basically a lot of going to the pause menu and deactivating certain items. There are a lot of ways to make your jumps faster in certain rooms by turning off your high jumps after you get them in Norfair. So if you turn off your high jumps in certain rooms, you may open the possibility to get a mock ball that's really hard to get, or a wall jump that will put you in the right spot in a better way than the high jumps would. And so when you're in the pause menu, it doesn't count any towards your game time. So it's essentially a way to not, it takes more real time, obviously, but yeah, it saves a lot of game time over the course of the run.
All right, so essentially pausing's free, so you can end up going into your menu all the time to do things that might save a little bit of time.
Yeah, as it's fading into the pause menu, there is a time where you're still moving for a second, and that is counted towards the game time. But if you plan it right, you can you can do it without losing any game time.
All right, then we got a question here from Juice. Just wants to know what your favorite tricks are.
Ooh. I'll let you start, MS. I need to think.
My favorite trick will be the full Halfie. It's got a great name. It's you use a lot of different. It's like a combination of a lot of different techs to do it, and it just looks so cool. You skip over the top of, one of the more difficult rooms, the Coliseum, and so it looks cool. It feels cool when you get it. So yeah, that's my favorite.
I guess mine is the Flower House.
You guys pick good sounding tricks.
Yeah, that's all that matters, I think.
Oh yeah, well, the name is super important. But the Flower House is a trick that I could not do for a long time, probably because I didn't actually practice it. But once I practiced it, it was really rewarding.
All right, okay, we're gonna cut it off at this one last question then, because suddenly they're all flowing in. But Bleachy wants to know what your favorite room names are.
Garrison?
I'm gonna go with the tried and true classic, the one that started it all, the Cathedral. It's a good room, lots of cool strategies, and a classy name.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Amphitheater, because it's also a cool name, and it kind of describes the room.
You could have easily just been making these names up, because
they're completely irrelevant. You should have a competition for people to guess which room the names belong to.
Oh, but yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Bubble Mountain, though. That is a really good name.
Oh, baby,
that is an awesome name, actually. I quite like Kung Fu Pirates, to be honest.
Kung Fu Pirates is good too.
Does the XD count? The face? Does that have to be there?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay, that's just extra.
That was commentary for me when I was making that list.
Okay, so it just says here MSDS just wants to say how great the game is, so I'll give you a moment to do that, and then we'll wrap it all up.
Yeah, I just want to give shout outs to Deer Force. I mentioned them earlier.
Deer Force.
Yes, Deer Force, they're the developers of this game. I really think they had just the incredible capacity and mindset when creating this game to think about different ways to play it, different routing, different possibilities. Like I said, I think it's a masterpiece, and for me, I've been playing this game since I was a kid, and it's never gotten old for me. So I just wanted to say that and give shout outs to the genius that is Deer Force for creating this amazing game.
Well, I gotta guess Deer Force is a name translated from Japanese, which doesn't quite work.
Deer Force of Team Shikamaru.
Which makes it, that's what makes it so much better, is because, yeah, there you go, Deer Force.
There's a bunch of Chinese companies that are like that. There's one called Big Goose, which makes mechanical toys. And it's just Big Goose, not really worth translating ever. But anyway, so I'll wrap up. You guys do your shout-outs, and I've got a bunch of stuff to wrap up, and I'm trying to remember it all. So, Garrison, if you want to go first, do your shout-outs, whatever you want.
Shout-outs to Number SMW. Shout-outs to Bowser and the Good Guy Gang. Zarthok and Pastebins. Shout-outs to the Sunday Sequence Break and SDA for having us on.
Oh, that's no problem.
Our pleasure.
And SRL in general. SRL has been a great community.
SRL, SDA, both awesome. Both got great communities, obviously. trying not to step on any toes here. They're both as good as each other.
All right.
Well,
That settles that.
Thank you. M, what do you got?
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to the ops of SRL, Poochie D, Cosmo, Giano, Sicko, and Jade. Those guys do a lot to make that community run smoothly, and they're just putting in a lot of work to make that place really cool. So I'd like to say thanks to them. And shout out to my brother, too, for helping me come up with all these strats that we developed.
Yes. Also, SDA have good admins. Don't feel left out.
Oh, yeah, SDA, too. And thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate that.
That's great. You were our third choice or something, so...
What?
What do you want about? No. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on, both of you. We're glad we did Super Metroid, because it was one we wanted to do from the start, but we had to try and figure out, like, how the hell we were going to go about it, because there's a lot
and
to
it
No
was
hard
way too
feelings
much.
over us choosing a week of Garfield before you, but that's the rules.
We
I
had
can't
to,
blame you.
we had to get the important stuff out of the way first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously thanks Garrison pretty much setting up the whole episode, and MS did actually quite a lot in the end. Considering how long ago did we confirm that you'd be on the show?
It was like a couple of days ago
It
that
was
I found out that I was going to be off.
Thursday or Friday. So, amazingly, right, I think Super Metroid players seem to be the most employed out of the guys we've asked. In
That's
that
debatable.
a good bunch of you seem to have work or something.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we didn't have that problem with the SMW guys. We just asked them and they're like, yeah, no, we're off.
Yep.
So,
Job satisfaction is the
yeah,
important thing.
of course. So, we're going to try and remember to wrap all this stuff up. Remember to watch Super Games Done Quick. I was going to say Super Ghouls and Ghosts because it says SG. Summer Games Done Quick on the 24th. We'll keep reminding you, so don't worry about it. Starts 24th, which is a Thursday. If you have a record or anything you want to tell us about, please PM us on IRC or through Twitch or on the forums. I mean, Fizo and I are in the SRL channel, all three of us are in the SDA channel, Duckfist in the SDA channel, we're on SDA forums, and you can PM the Twitch page. So if you have if you have a record you need to tell us about, go for it. If you want to make a highlight video, that would be absolutely fantastic and we can show it.
Sure. And if nothing else, save your Twitch recording or whatever. If you streamed it, save it.
Yeah, because I know one day we'll get linked something and we'll click on it and it'll say it's been deleted by Twitch. So we won't be able to show it.
And you can't even tell what things have been saved either.
Yeah.
So that's kind of...
So
if you need to contact us and you don't want to use any of those, I don't know if you mentioned our email address.
Oh yeah, we have one.
But we have an email address now.
Yeah. SundaySequenceBreak@gmail.com, right?
Yes.
It's Sunday or the Sunday?
The Sun.
I think it's
the.
Should be the
I
same
just
as our
checked
Twitch.
and I immediately
I think
forgot.
it's exactly the same. Oh, it's
Oh,
it's just
not.
Sunday.
It's
There's
just
no
Sunday.
Okay, right. Then aside from that, I just want to remind you guys, 'cause I've been forgetting to do this, to follow our guests, of course, to thank them for coming on the show. So MSDS3170 for if you want to follow MSDS. Garrison_TT. Is that like time trials or is it sad face or?
That's a reference to another community.
Alright, okay. It's not like Twin Turbo or anything like that then.
Or Twitch TV.
People used to think it was like eyes crying.
Yeah. Alright. So yeah, remember to go follow those guys. Check out the Super Metroid races. I mean, Cassius is also... We asked him on the show, but he was busy, so I guess go follow him as well, why not? And I think that was everything I wanted to say.
Shoutouts to our upcoming weeks.
Oh, that was it. Shit, I am so close. Right, we're going to just wrap up. Next week, we have the Apescape episode, which will be with SimStim and No Name. They'll be on there next week to talk about Apescape.
I have a whole bunch of monkeys that we're going to let loose, and we'll see what happens.
I have the monkey background ready. It is my favourite monkey-based picture of all time. I think I showed this to you, PJ.
I probably ignored it.
It's my Twitch TV background. That's how much I love the picture. It's incredible. But either way, that'll be on next week. So that'll be our first PS1 game, I think. I think it's our. I think it is.
You're right.
Yeah, because that
I think
one
it's been 8 or
actually
6
happened. Yeah, that is it. That's our first 3D game as well. Right?
Oh man.
Oh, not our first 3D game.
Oh, no.
Censored. was
Yeah.
our first
Yeah,
3D.
Censored wasn't it? Yeah. So we're breaking new ground into the disc-based media generation.
First
So
3D game we'll admit to.
yeah, so that'll be on next week, and then the week after that we got Symphony of the Night, which is going to be another mission to get through. Because are we shortened that now? Are we just doing Alucard?
Yeah, it's just going to be Alucard. We've
It's
got
gonna be
Rogue
Alucard.
Scout and Mecha Richter.
All right, so Mecha Richter is going to be on.
Sure
All right,
is.
so those two, that's going to be. That's going to be a lot of work. So
Yep.
then after that, it's SGDQ, so we're taking the week off, and after that, it's
It's recover from
Flicky.
SGD.
Flicky wants a holiday, so we're taking the week off. Well, actually, I was told we were taking the day off before I asked for it, so we all want a break.
That's
No,
just to
the
prepare
scenario
for
now.
season 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
we're
it.
doing season 2 apparently. So
Yeah, it's going to be the end of the season. Soten is going to be
yeah.
the season end
Soten
of the
is the
season finale.
finale.
well, there you go. I didn't. Okay, well, all right.
We
So
didn't tell you. It's going to be a surprise.
it's a season
Birthday!
It's going to be a
whatever
cliffhanger.
whatever that means. It's a season finale. So I guess
Yep.
we're going to have a cliffhanger where PJ comes down with a disease or something like that.
Yeah, I've been working on it for a while. It
All
should
right.
be pretty good.
Okay, so cool. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week for Apescape. Follow us, Twitch, TV. You're already on the page, so just click follow if you haven't done already. I think after we come back, I might actually start work on advertising this show to people, because if you guys are anything like me, you haven't done anything, right? I mean, I haven't
Very
posted
little.
on Reddit, TL, or, so whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Follow everything ever. Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.